Tonight's episode of the Tuesday Night Cigar Club is brought to you by Drew Estate. Come experience the rebirth of cigars at www.drewestate.com and download the free Drew Diplomat smartphone app today to discover nearby retailers, RSVP to special events, redeem points to win exclusive Drew Estate merchandise, and much, much more.
Might be a big mistake, but I'm having too much fun to wait. Flag her down when she comes back by. That one's yours and this one's mine. Bring another round. 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 Bring another round.
Here's the suckers.
Good evening, brothers and sisters of the leaf. Coming to you live from the sandy, sun-drenched beaches of Valverde, it's the Tuesday Night Cigar Club podcast. Tonight the boys take a chance on the 2017 unofficial sequel to the action classic Commando, known simply as No Chance. It's a surprisingly good film, so it's a good thing we matched it with an unsurprisingly good cigar, the classic Cuban Montecristo No. 2, paired with pint after pint of the long-range pills from Revolver Brewing Company. So, do you think with a goofball Arnold comedy, a tasty cigar, and copious amounts of beer, there's any chance that your favorite crew of lovable numbnuts won't have a fantastic time tonight? No chance. So sit back, folks, light 'em up, and enjoy the show.
Where are we? Episode 98. Episode 98!
Alright.
Oh, my voice got so high just then.
It's 98.
Episode 98! What do you guys think of when I say the number 98?
98.
2 more episodes, Tut, and you owe me a Coke.
Okay.
I believe that was you owe me some Coke.
We call it a Coke.
Well, for one, it's the highest jersey number that a player can have after they retired 99 for Wayne Gretzky.
I did not know that.
But me, I associate the number 98 with the one and only 98 Degrees. 98 Degrees, of course, an all-American pop and contemporary R&B vocal group consisting of 4 extremely talented vocalists, brothers Nick and Drew Leachy, and their friends Justin Jeffrey, Jeff Timmons. Don't sleep on Timmons. He's a beast on the falsetto parts. Tut, you'll back me up on that. He'll get you.
You make me sick.
Who's y'all's favorite boy band?
The fuck happened to the show, man? We started off with such promise.
The Ghetto Boys?
I'm going to go Color Me Bad.
Dude, any one of them sons of bitches couldn't hold a candle to the Bay City Rollers.
Bay City Rollers, right
Saturday night. Saturday.
Were they a boy band in their day?
Well, they didn't call them that back then because people weren't stupid.
Yeah. I still think Color Me Bad was better than the Bay City Rollers.
I was being facetious.
Supported. Think about it. Color Me Bad, supported vocally by the highly underrated second tenor Sam Waters and baritone Kevin Thornton.
Who?
They helped make hits like I Want to Sex You Up and the sultry I Adore Me Amor, the love soundtrack to my steamy summer of 1991.
You know, I thought that we had some credibility as a show, but if we did, we don't anymore.
We're just trying to spread our base, our wings of conversation a little bit, talk about something we don't normally get into.
Yeah, it's good.
You guys don't like boy bands?
Was NWA considered a boy band?
No.
No, they were gangster rap.
Well, they were boy men. They're men as boys. Which Boys to Men was actually a boy band.
Yeah.
Which is weird. Now that we saw the posters for them everywhere in Vegas, they're like all old, but they're still called Boys to Men.
Sitting
Well,
in.
technically, it's a perfect name because when they were boys, they were becoming men. Now that they're men, they can say that
Go
it's
ahead,
boys to men.
Tut, express yourself.
Oh, I was just gonna be like sitting in Texas doing a podcast, hot as balls, and I'm sweating my ass. That's a little bit of Tuttle
Works.
T.
If something
Easy E.
if something I did in the last 2 minutes led to that, I'm sorry.
This is
Doctor,
real.
Doctor, you're right. This was
The boys at the table are always hard.
I'm so sorry. Welcome everybody to the Tuesday Night Cigar Club episode.
got more.
Episode 98. No.
I can do this
Cruising
for
down
2
the
more
street
episodes.
in my 6 foe, about to walk out the corner's front door.
I have a big problem in movies whenever a white person does rap or recites raps. And if I ever start to think maybe I'm off base with that, I'm going to watch what you just did, and it's going to cement everything I've...
Nope, still right.
Uh,
That's wrong. That's wrong, man.
maybe we should form a boy band. Color Us Sloshed. Too Drunk to Care. That's a good one.
Yeah,
Too drunk to
it
care.
really is. It's-
With the number 2. Too Drunk to Care, all one word.
Oh, no, okay, that is good.
Yeah, it's not in your eyes. There's something there.
Let's go ahead and write that down. That's
Doctor, if you could next week kind of put some calls out there, see if anybody wants to assign us
I
to
was
a...
just picturing a cover art of the 4 of us sitting there in various stages of inebriation and a half-empty keg, and
Yeah, but with half shirts. That's what they wear. Like half t-shirts,
okay, now I'm out.
showing our abs.
I'm totally down for that.
Well, if you're still listening, don't blame me for not. We're going to do tonight what we do every episode. We are going to pair a premium cigar with some craft beers and a movie, and I'm feeling this one's going to be good. Yax, is there a chance this one won't be great?
there's no chance.
There is no chance. Doctor, you might want to click that about 3 times is what I've been doing. Take off enough. As everyone clips and
Number 2?
clips their cigars and takes a sip of beer.
Number 3.
We've got a big show, so I'm going to get right to the cigar. Introduce this bad boy.
Okay.
This is the Montecristo number 2
Number two.
by Habanos S.A., a Cuban Montecristo number 2. 6.1 by 52.
You say a Cuban?
A Cuban.
Like an actual?
Huh? It's a little
Cuban?
Habana
Yeah.
under the Montecristo. These have been authenticized by a
I
very...
believe it's authenticated, but
I've heard it both ways.
no, you haven't.
Box code GOSOST 18. He's from October of 2018. Had a little age on him. Little, I mean less than a year. Say price point for later. Why did I choose the legendary Montecristo number 2 for tonight's show? Arguably one of the most popular Cuban cigars. Pretty, I would say, safe to say, one of the most popular Cuban Montecristos. Because it is, by all accounts, Arnold Schwarzenegger's favorite go-to Cuban cigar.
I actually saw him smoking one this weekend.
And where were you guys? Thanks for inviting me, asshole.
I saw a picture of him smoking with other people.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
But you know, it's the same as me being there.
He loves them. And just like our Death Kiss episode, where we paired a fake Charles Bronson with a real Cuban Partagas, tonight we're going to pair a fake Arnold with a real Cuban Montecristo. Does that make sense at all?
No, we're gonna go with it.
It's a pattern I'm trying to follow here. It
the
makes
real
sense.
with the fake,
The real with the fake.
the fake with the real.
Yes. And as everyone knows,
Next time we're gonna do a real movie with the fake cigar.
yes.
Really?
And drink water.
Oh no, that's gonna be horrible.
That's episode 100. I just ruined the surprise. But no. Fake Cubans are a gazillion-dollar industry. These are real. So, oh, it smells nice.
It does.
Doctor's smoke is just. Okay. So that's what we're smoking. Yax, what are we drinking?
Beer, as always.
Tonight's movie. Does that bit ever get old? What are we drinking, my oldest friend?
We have 2 choices this evening from Revolver Brewing out of Granbury.
Granbury.
Granbury. That's up your way, Doc.
Not too far.
Yeah. Revolver beers. Our movie tonight has a lot of guns in it.
Ha!
I
Apparently they
got
have some
that.
famous dinosaur footprints there.
Really?
Yes.
In Granbury.
Yes.
Interesting.
Dinosaur footprints. It's new to me. Now I got to go look at dinosaur footprints.
Peter Mayhew was making his home there for a while till his recent passing.
Chewbacca.
Oh.
Yes.
Are you sure they weren't just his footsteps?
It could
He's a
totally
big-
You know,
be.
it could,
He's a big man.
It
He's a
could
big
be.
guy.
Just fooled everybody into thinking it was a Triceratops.
He's a big
Yeah.
man.
All right,
It all makes sense now.
go ahead, Yax.
From Revolver Brewing, they started in 2012.
All right.
They had apparently came on gangbusters, and in 2016 they were purchased by the Miller Coors conglomerate, and their beer has been since taken, I believe, to the national level. They are most famously known for their Blood and Honey American Ale.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of that one.
Not a fan of it either.
Yeah, so everything
I'll
that
give it
everybody
this.
else
It's-
likes,
it's-
we don't want to like that one. So.
It's a very unique tasting beer. I'll give it that.
It is. But we will be enjoying this evening the long range Pilsner
Okay.
or Pils.
That's our main beer tonight.
Yes. It is it's a German style Pilsner. Only about 4.8% ABV, about 25 IBUs, right in the standard Pilsner range.
So we're basically drinking water tonight.
Yes, just a big glass of colored
like it.
water. But then also we have, as always, an IPA,
Little something.
a little something,
yeah, they
the
didn't-
hop device.
Okay.
I'm not sure why they call it the hop device,
Okay.
but
Is that a little bit more oomph to it?
it is a hazy IPA, which has become
It's a
sort of a
IPA. Look around.
little trendier, but it's slightly unfiltered, so hence hazy.
Okay. It's hazy.
Yeah.
IBU
I thought it would be like something like super awesome. Oh, hazy. That's
I
got to be
was all
something.
down.
Yeah.
No, it's just, we're not. So we can save money by not filtering it. Oh, sweet.
that's how they cut the corners.
Well, I think it gives something to the flavor, but
I should probably drink them all. I don't want you guys to get hazy on me.
no, I'm going to enjoy a delicious.
That's true.
IPA.
I got tests coming up, so I
College
need to
boys
stay
got
on
a
it.
test to get hazy for.
That's right.
All right. Was he just singing "Hazy Shade of Winter" over there?
It was.
No, that was Doctor.
Mm-hmm. IBUs on
The
that bad boy?
springtime of my life.
Well, that one is less. It is more
Look around, trees are
like
brown.
like a European IPA,
Yeah.
35-40
Ah,
IBUs.
ABV? Up there?
5.2.
Springtime of my
Okay.
life.
You don't have to hide the disappointment on your face.
Hazy shade of
We've done some powerful beers lately, so this is definitely a step away from that. But hey,
Well, but it is also getting warmer
it's
here.
Central Texas in June.
That's why I like it.
Yeah, I mean it's certainly
It was busting hot today.
it was busting nuts hot today.
Gotta stay hydrated.
Balls hot. You got to stay hydrated.
Doctor, is this the time of year where you really want to stay hydrated with lots of beers?
That is absolutely correct.
Would you
Mr. K.
recommend, as far as taking in liquids on a hot day, beer is the go-to?
I would say absolutely yes.
Okay.
I mean, why would you want to do anything else?
No Gatorade, water, no.
Water, fish pee in that.
He's right. He's always right.
Science.
Okay.
Wait. Science.
That'll make a lot more sense when I get to our movie. Tell you just lit up. Man, this cigar smells wonderful.
Yeah, and I really love the cold draw. I love there was a little bit of hint of sweetness on the cold draw. That was
Yax is nodding in agreement on the
Yes.
sweetness.
it was an interesting sweetness because it was kind of like between like sweet and cinnamon sweet. So there was like a little bit of spice into it as well. So I really love that cold draw.
Doctor, what are you enjoying it?
Very much so. I actually believe I had a Cuban Montecristo once, but it was so long ago that I do not remember it. But I remember thoroughly enjoying it. This has a great smell, very nice, easy draw. Get a little of the sweetness on it.
I am getting a nice burn on the nose. Not
Did you get it? Is it just me, or is it like a really soft bread after the retrohale?
Usually after I retrohale through my nose, I've already exited all the smoke out of my mouth. Do you like blow a little bit of smoke out and keep some in your mouth?
No, it's just like a really kind of like after you retrohale, then there's like this little wave of bread that kind of hangs around.
Oh, I'm getting breadiness on the palate. It's definitely got a cracker. You getting like a specific bread, multigrain?
No, it's not like Wonder Bread's popping up here, but
Okay.
It'd be cool if it did.
Getting a
but,
lightly buttered English muffin.
You guys getting pizza crust? I'm getting pizza crust. No, it is a bready smoke with a nice tingle on the nose. I'm getting not a lot more than after. It's just got a really nice aroma.
Yeah, it does.
I would say this, having been around the cigar message boards for a few years now, I wanted to make sure we smoked these correctly. I smoked one straight out of my humidor the other night to give it a test run. It was a little soft. They do say with Cuban cigars, either store them at a lower humidity than our cigars, low 60s, whereas 70-ish range is, I keep my humidors as close as I can, around 68 percent humidity. They say store these or dry box them, which is a day or two before you're going to smoke them. Take them out, put them in a non-humidified container for a few days. So I actually took these out of my humidor yesterday, put them in a little sealed travel humidor with no Bovita packs or anything, and just and I can already tell a difference.
So you're saying if you store them at the normal humidity that we normally do it, dry box it for a few days before you smoke it?
I drove out these for one day.
Okay.
And it seems to have helped a little bit. It's not nearly as it had a little sponginess to it, and the burn was a little hot, and this has definitely seemed to have it seems to have worked to mellow it out a little bit.
Interesting.
Smoking experience wise, so we're here to educate as well as entertain, folks.
It's kind of nice little softness to it. I like it. Not softness as in texture. I'm just talking as in presence.
Yeah, no, it's definitely not a strong. Hell, right now it's not even a medium cigar. Although, if the other night repeats itself, it'll creep up there a little bit.
Yeah.
But bready. You got anything else besides the breadiness and the?
It was, like Tut said, I had that sweetness on the cold draw. It had a really strong aroma of like cut hay, but I wasn't tasting like hay through the cold draw. Just on the aroma, just had that in the aroma. Since I've lit up right now, I'm just literally started, so I'm not really picking up too much. That sweetness is right there, lingering just a little bit. After lighting up, it's incredibly faint, but I'm not into anything other than that just yet.
No, breadiness, and I'm starting to get a little bit of vanilla. That's nice.
I got some wood and lead, but that's because I had bitten into the pencil.
You were smoking your pencil, doctor. We told you about that. Are you okay?
I'm fine, I think.
Okay, good. Okay.
That's just graphite. It's not actual lead anymore.
This is our second Cuban cigar this year.
Yeah, yeah.
Why not? So we got the gun beer. We've got Arnold cigar. What movie could we possibly be doing?
An Arnold Schwarzenegger movie.
No, I'm asking you guys. I lost my notes and I got drunk last night. What movie are we doing?
We're doing
Commando.
That would be fantastic.
We are doing a film called No Chance.
No Chance.
Which is a fan-made? Is this like...
Technically, this is a fan film, a fan-made sequel to the original Commando. Although usually fan films are regulated to YouTube because they can't make money off other characters and music, and they just throw it up on YouTube, which we've kind of done ourselves a couple times.
Yeah.
Go to our page. You can see the Unreliables. We spoofed the Expendables. We did Hipster spoofing.
I thought those were avant-garde masterpieces.
Hey, I'm with you, dog.
They are avant-garde masterpieces.
But this one actually is on Amazon Prime, and it's out there.
How did that happen?
I don't know. I will say this, and I'll probably mention it again in my notes here. I tried like hell via social media to get the director of this film to come on with us. I sent him messages on Instagram. I sent messages on Facebook.
I hung outside his house in the rain the other night several hours.
I didn't even get
got the boombox out there.
I didn't even get a no chance.
Put a headless rabbit in his mailbox.
Hey, if he would have responded no chance, that would have been awesome. No, I couldn't get through to the guy because I have a lot of questions.
Followed his daughter to school.
I have a lot of questions about this movie, and we're just not going to get answers. So,
I was really wondering. I mean, it's just in terms of this film, was it shot like in was it like a bunch of short films or episodes, and then they stitched it together?
No,
so to
I
speak,
think it was.
I think this was a really full
project.
production. All I know is this: 3 things. This is all I can give you. It's written by Jason Chilton, who also stars in the film as Barrett, the spoof of Bennett, the lead bad guy in Commando. He wrote it.
Okay.
And it's directed by a guy named Matt Poitras. The third thing I know, and this is all you're going to get, fellas, it was completely shot in Texas. Which surprised me.
It's not, because there was an outdoor scene that I was like, that kind of looks
like Austin.
Yeah, it kind of did. I was kind of like, you know what? There's not a lot between that and hipster.
That's all we got.
Okay.
I wish we had more answers. I've got a lot of questions, but...
Well, let me strap up before we get on this.
Strap up. Oh, jeez. So this guy. Freaking props.
Ready to go.
I tried.
Doctor, now would be a perfect time to tell us what you try to do valiantly. And you
let's just say that when I get back
home...
You
deserve a round of applause for this.
When I get back home tomorrow, there's probably going to be a sleeveless chainmail tank top.
Oh my God, that would have been awesome.
Doctor had a few drinks the other night. I encourage... you know me, I encourage you guys to step up. I like the... headband.
Did you get it from daddybear.com?
I ordered it through Amazon, and this was called what was it called?
The Barrett.
Your Amazon.com order of the Nasir Ali aluminum chain tank top.
All right.
Cost me $47. The thing was going to be pretty sweet.
It still is, my friend.
Hey,
it still is.
We're going to put it to some good use.
The onus is on me now to find a movie to use that for.
This is the
Sorry, baby. I've got to watch things I wouldn't normally watch now. It's for the show, I swear. Doctor.
Would have been a little warm to wear that too long this evening.
You could have worn it for the first hour at least.
I would have...
Then you could have worn it. Pass it around.
Should I happen to chance to get any fingerless gloves to go along?
I was gonna go all out.
You know the doctor. He doesn't half-ass anything. Except his doctoring.
Hey, I was using my whole ass.
How's that lawsuit going?
Can't talk about it in public.
Okay. Were you guys ready to talk about this crazy movie and why it's crazy and why does this thing exist and how did we not know it existed?
Do it. Hit it.
Yes, I'm...
All right. Real quick, while I get another beer.
I'll go ahead and take one to keep you from...
why don't you give us some links, Tut?
Going back to the web. Hey, by the way, if you're going to do some shopping on Amazon, if you're going to buy your very own Bennett chainmail tank top, just like the doctor did.
Doctor, did you go to the TNCC website and click on our link before you bought the vest?
As far as you know.
As far as we know, go to the TuesdayNightCigarClub.com website, click on the Amazon banner, do your shopping from there. It doesn't cost you anything. It helps us keep our lights on from the thing called the affiliates. If you're going to watch us on YouTube, subscribe to the YouTube channel. Doesn't take you a lot of effort. Just hit the subscribe. You can find us at Tuesday Night Cigar Club. Also, if you're going to be tooling around on the Instagrams, then find us at TNCC_podcast. A lot of good looking pictures up on there. Join us always on Facebook. Sometimes we'll do some live stuff. You get to see it on there, some contest. You can find us at Tuesday Night Cigar Club there. And by the way, if you're going to buy some nice little cigars, go to the Tuesday Night Cigar Club, click on the Famous Smoke Shop banner, shop from there, and then when you get to the checkout, hit TNCC 20.
If you go to our website and click on it, it automatically applies the discount. You don't
know what? You don't even have to do that, you lazy fuckers.
Fall fuckers. I gotta type in what? Nope.
Tut style.
Do it for you. Tut style.
I don't need to save that much if it makes me...
Yeah.
Just keeping an eye out for our own.
Exactly. Thank you, Tut.
See, I get 20% if I type in these initials.
Okay, No Chance, 2017.
Technically, it's not 20%. You need to spend $100 and you get $20 back, which is kind of like 20%.
That is true. We got to spend money to make money, right?
True.
That doesn't really apply here either, does it?
People
Speaking of
keep
which,
telling me that.
hey, if it don't make dollars, it don't make sense.
That's
and
right.
speaking of which, we're not filling up the boot tonight for him. I got a real negative response by Tud about it, so I was like, you know what, we got a big show here. I'm gonna.
But we can talk about it.
We got a big show. I just want to briefly mention we lost Bushwick Bill since our last show. One of the key ingredients of the Ghetto Boys, a seminal Houston rap group from Mincy and I listened to them ad nauseum in our youth. Everybody knows, Mind Playing Tricks on Me and all that, but we listened to those first two albums just on repeat growing up. And then Mincy, I know you were a big fan of his solo album.
Yeah, he had a solo album. Don't make dollars, don't make sense.
And I really wanted to fill the boot because that's about the size he would wear. It looked like a little Bushwick boot.
Oh, man. Not even cold on the ground yet.
Well,
Come
that's
on.
another reason why I passed. I was like, that'd be a tasteless joke, which I just went ahead and made. But no, he was a cool cat. And by all accounts, apparently he used to go to some Mexican, you'll appreciate this, our old friend Joe Turner from grade school and high school told a really funny story on Facebook. He used to go after work every day to this Mexican restaurant to get happy hour margaritas or whatever and sit and read. And he said Bushwick Bill would sneak over and steal his cigarettes when he was in town. I didn't ask him he was so small that he just
You just see his little
a
hand
little hand grab him. But he's like, I just always remember how happy I was that Bushwick Bill was
stealing his cigarettes.
stealing my cigarettes, and I thought that was a really cool story.
That's awesome.
But yeah, he was essential to that band, which was one of the first. They were not a boy band. They were.
I read a long literary essay about Mind Playing Tricks on Me and all the different, lyrics.
It's
and
an
all-
awesome song.
everything
Well,
that's
they were
going
just
on in
such
it.
an eclectic group of these four guys. Willie D, Scarface, Bushwick Bill, and I forget the other guy. And the other guy, he's like that tenor that nobody knows.
Carreras, damn it.
Every group has that. Who was the guy at NWA? Nobody knew his name.
Yellow Boy?
Yeah,
No,
right.
MC Ren?
No, Yellow Boy was who I was thinking
Okay.
of. MC Ren was.
Everyone knows Ren.
You couldn't do NWA without MC Ren. Yellow Boy.
Oh.
Yeah. We're not in trouble now, are we?
He went by Yellow Boy, DJ Yella.
DJ Yella.
Yeah.
Yeah. He was awesome, by the way. DJ Yella was awesome. And so's that other guy in the Ghetto Boys that we don't know who he is. He's a big dude, too. All right, let's get out of this.
No, it was just Ren, Dre, Ice Cube, Easy E.
Oh, no, I was talking about the Ghetto Boys. I was trying to think of the fourth member.
Dropping these
And,
motherfucking bees on him.
He's a real big dude. Or a little derby.
Oh, that's the one. I think actually does my favorite lyric. Live and die by the sword. Every day I'm paranoid.
No, it's Scarface.
Oh, that was Scarface?
No, Scarface.
That sounded like Judi Dench sings Ghetto Boys.
Yeah, no more singing for you tonight. Especially
I'm
with
just
that.
getting
Don't
warmed
you do
up,
any
man.
Bret Michaels with that headband
I'm
on.
getting warmed up.
All right.
Mama's falling
Once I get into this movie, boys, I'm not
down.
stopping except for 2 brief commercial breaks where we'll talk about the cigar, unless you guys have some earlier.
Hit it.
So, are you ready?
Yes.
Is
No
there a chance
chance.
that you're not ready?
There's no chance.
We start off with historic footage of the country of Valverde sometime in the 1980s. That's what it says, sometime in the 1980s. A male Hispanic voiceover is telling us about how his great, courageous father, President Arias, who had huevos grandes, that means big eggs, which means big balls. I took some Spanish in high school. Was a successful dictator of this small, beautiful country until the American bastards, especially one big bastard in particular, John Mantrix.
Mantrix.
Of course, in the original Commando, it's John Matrix. Here we have John Mantrix. Took his father down. Once he decided to return from exile and retake his country, using the very man who helped take it from him, Mantrix, we realized that we are smack dab, and I didn't know where this was going before I got into this movie watching it. We're smack dab in the middle of the storyline from the original Commando. As the opening credits roll, we're shown basically a reenactment of the final act of Commando using a new cast. New Matrix, i.e. Mantrix. New Bennett, who's now Barrett. New Jenny, now known as Chenny, Chenny. You get the idea. It's pretty impressive from a production standpoint. The location's great, as matching the compound from the original film. Easily reminds you of Valverde. There's lots of rapid machine gun fire, which looks really good. They're clearly not using spray-painted toy guns like we use on our little films. But
way to give it away.
But they also add in some new footage not included in the original film, like Arius' wife and son witnessing his death when Mantrix blasts him out.
That was actually a really cool little
They
shot.
actually added
man.
little touches that we just didn't get to see in the original film. So we see Felipe, the little boy, over at his dead general's father's body, vowing to avenge him. As Mantrix marches out to the beach carrying his clearly adult daughter in his arms, Chenny, which is hilarious. She's taller than he is. She's got this big broad he's carrying around. His longtime commander, General Kirby, spelled Kerbey, so it's different. I think the original was Kirby. Is that all you gotta do is change the spelling of a name?
Apparently so. What I love more than anything else is as he's bringing out his adult daughter, you actually see him put down. He's like, oh man, that's good to let that down. Yes.
Kirby asks him, Mantrix, you leave anyone alive? The old salty general says. Just the mariachis, Mantrix quips, as we cut over to some very nervous mariachi musicians with their hands up in the air by the water. Don't shoot.
Give him a little sign of the cross. Thank you.
There's a military helicopter behind Kirby, and its blades are spinning. I'm thinking that had to be green screened at this point. Because, it's like a Huey... Is that Huey?
Yes.
Like, behind this guy, I'm like, oh, wow, that's a really good-looking green screen. And there's no way this guy can get real helicopters. Wait till later in the movie. Man, it just worked. It looked really good. I was like, man, how the fuck they pull that off? Stuff like this, the impressive guns, the locations. That's why I wanted to talk to this filmmaker and be like, how the hell did you do this? But sadly, there was no chance of us talking. Yeah.
So that's like the 50th time.
Every time I say no chance, we'd chug a beer.
His lawyer, Jackie Charles, says no chance.
Kirby asks John to start up his old unit again, just like in the ending of Commando, and Mantrix says without hesitation, no chance. So basically, audience listening, YouTube's watching, boys here at the table, we are getting an unofficial sequel to Commando tonight, done in the style of a straight-up comedy.
Basically, yes.
And I am personally ashamed of myself for not knowing this film existed until a week or two ago.
When was it made?
How did this... 2017.
17?
How did this not come up on my radar? I haven't
not
heard
that
the
long
Arnold
ago.
fans talking about it. I haven't heard any of my... Like, I'm pretty...
Maybe
like,
they were trying to go so small under the radar as to not get sued.
Yeah, but now
to
it's
coin an
on
Arnold
Prime.
To coin an Arnold term, it's pretty ballsy to make a sequel to a movie that you have no permission to do. Just change the names up a little bit and do it as a spoof. Let's think satire. You're protected.
Satire, yeah.
This is satire, I suppose. I don't know. So many questions. Maybe we'll find some answers.
All right.
No chance.
No chance.
Doctor's making a tally over there of every time I say no chance. Son of a bitch.
Making a little voodoo doll.
So, me?
Just continue.
So sometime later, we find ourselves at the Arnold Strong Institute for the Emotionally Troubled. You ever work there, Doctor?
I did work at an institute for the emotionally troubled. Arnold Strong, correct me if I'm wrong, is the name that Arnold was billed under in Hercules Goes Bananas.
Correct. When he first did his
Or
first
Hercules
movie.
Goes to New York, which I believe was the same.
Same movie. When he first made his appearance on the big screen, they didn't think Schwarzenegger could fit on the poster, so there's Arnold Strong.
As far as you know, I worked at the Institute for the Emotionally Troubled.
I was going to let that slide. John Rambo's there shooting suction cup arrows at the orderlies.
After apparently John Rambo's really been sick.
He was quite famished. Die Hard's John
That
McClane.
Agent Orange came back in a big fucking way, man.
Die Hard's John McClane is there saying "Yippee-ki-yay, Mr. Falcone" into a walkie-talkie he stole from some orderlies. That shit's funny because if you ever watch Die Hard 2 on TMC or AMC or TBS, that's what they dubbed his "Yippee-ki-yay motherfucker" with. "Yippee-ki-yay, Mr. Falcone." which made there's nobody named Falcone, which it was just one of those classic bad dubs. So that was a nice, funny touch if you picked up on it. And finally, we come to John Mantrix's padded room, where we find our hero doing cartoon drawings of a dead Barrett and the Predator monster.
Which happens to be right behind him.
Which is right behind. The Predator delivers a letter to him in the mail from his daughter, Chenny. And as he reads it, we cut to a flashback footage of Mantrix and Chenny feeding deer, eating ice cream, swimming, and practicing martial arts together, just like in the opening credits of Commando. Did y'all notice when she says in her letter to him that he was the perfect package? They cut to him in those Speedo shorts into his crotch. Y'all didn't notice that?
I really wanted to skip over that. But
Chenny goes on to say in her voiceover that he always took such good care of her when she was kidnapped by Barrett. We cut to him shooting the bad guy in his cottage. Remember that guy that shows up to negotiate with Matrix? Hey, you got a deal, right? Wrong. They dressed that dude up just like the guy. He looked just like that guy. Like, the wardrobes are spot on in this thing. Like, it's impressive. But when she started dating years later, Mantrix took his protective nature of Chenny a little too far. As we see her sitting on a park bench with a young suitor, Mantrix comes up behind and slits the poor kid's throat. We see more bloodshed, and Chenny says, "After you wiped out my after prom party, I guess we all realized you just cared a little too much." Dude, he killed everybody at her prom high school party. So then, as he walks out of the prom covered in blood, General Kirby's there to handcuff John and take him into military custody for psychiatric rehabilitation under the Rambo Act. The end of her letter reveals that she's getting married now, and a save-the-date card is included. And get this, she's marrying Barrett, the same mustache, chainmailed, vest-wearing weirdo that kidnapped her as a kid. "Chenny, no!" Mantrix screams out before the orderlies whack him over the head with a billy club. All right, this guy's Arnold impression is serviceable, and they're smart. They keep it like to one sentence lines, but dude, his sounds when he's like fighting or the that stuff is so good. He's really, really good at the it's really good. He is really good at that. And apparently, I couldn't only find everywhere in the movie this actor is listed as John Mantrix. This guy didn't want his name on anything. As Mantrix starts to pass out from being whacked with the billy club, he flashes back to the cellar confrontation in the boiler room from the original Commando. Their back and forth banter between him and Barrett now is delivered identical to as it was in Commando. I'm sorry, you appreciate stuff like this, dog, because you're take a little praise here. You're a very good impressionist. The guy playing Barrett is really, really funny and really, really good as Bennett. I mean, I don't know if he wrote this as, like, if he did Bennett at parties, like he wore that to Halloween parties, everybody's like, "Oh man, you're just like it." Like, fuck it, I'll write a movie.
I think it's the second best part of this entire movie.
He's really, really good at it.
I think it was really good, and I'm glad that you said that the guy playing Arnold was serviceable, because I don't think he was any worse than serviceable.
No. I think if you folks watch Hipster, our Predator spoof that's on YouTube right now, I could have done better. I could do like 3 sentences without it being terrible.
I agree, definitely.
No, yeah.
I don't think Arnold is necessarily terribly difficult
Does he
to do.
still got the
I'm
gun
sure
in
there's
him?
people.
Everyone does a decent Arnold. I mean, everyone does an Arnold impression.
Yeah.
The wig really took me a while to get used to on this guy.
The one thing that I really like that is, and not to get ahead of it, but when he starts jogging, he's got Arnold's very slow jog.
That lumbersome kind of
very lumbersome
shoulders
jog
first.
that he does in Commando. He's got that down.
Okay.
But yes, the guy doing Barrett/Bennett.
It was fun.
He was phenomenal.
It was fun.
Agreed. You like me?
Oh yeah.
It's kind of spooky how good he is. And once again, they dress this boiler room location where it actually looks just like the scene from the original Commando. After a decently filmed knife fight, as a distressed 27-year-old tattooed Chenny looks down, "Daddy!" 30-year-old stripper. Mantrix throws a giant piece of pipe through Barrett's chest, killing him. Let off some steam, Barrett. Mantrix suddenly wakes up from his flashback. He finds himself locked up in a straitjacket, about to be heavily sedated for the night by a team of male nurses. He breaks free and kicks all their asses. One guy, he throws the straitjacket at his face, and the guy is just on the ground, just wrestling with him now. Look who's crazy now. Mantrix smiles as he escapes the room easily from these jokers and flees the hospital. He sets the timer on his digital watch so it counts down the hours to Cheney's wedding. Married on Sunday? No chance. And before he can embark on his new mission, he's confronted out in the field by the hospital by General Kirby. Mantrix takes out Kirby's men easily enough.
Hey, quick question. Grundy wasn't married on Sunday, was he?
No, he's buried on Sunday.
Buried on Sunday. Okay.
Who?
Solomon Grundy.
From the villain? From the Super Friends?
Yeah.
Oh, that was a little theme song. Solomon Grundy, Buried on a Sunday.
Yeah.
Oh, no, you guys lost me big time.
Well, I was paying attention to his watch, which like was a weird set the way he did that, and then I, for some reason, reminded me. Anyway, go on.
I only looked on the last season of Gotham. They actually brought back Solomon Grundy.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. He was kind of a slow-witted man on this old Super Friends cartoon. Wasn't he the guy in the tattered blazer?
Yes, he was a zombie.
Yeah. Kind of like Frankenstein.
Basically, yes.
Okay. Well, before he can run off, he's confronted by Kirby. He takes out Kirby's men with a few punches. Kirby looks at him, this old guy. We still got the moves, don't we, John? What's this wee bullshit? You never do anything. Oh, yeah, we got it. I like this old guy.
I actually do, too.
His name is Richard Dodwell, and he's got a real authentic nature to him, and he seems really like cool with being in on
First of all, if I close my eyes, he sounds like Rambo's commander.
Oh, Richard Crenna?
Yeah.
I thought this old guy was fun. Well, he tells Mantrix that this is his chance, now that he's escaped, to find a new home and lay low for the rest of his life. But John tells him, I know they've taken Cheney again, and I must rescue her. Kirby's like, oh, okay. He gives him a big bag of gear to help him along, his sidearm, and a coaster from the nightclub Huntin' Slash, where a real slime ball named Sully runs things. If you remember in the original Commando, Sully was talking about a nice place for Huntin' Slash, which, after years of trying to figure out, we finally came up with that was probably his term for pussy. Sully wasn't the most.
It used to be. Remember? Yeah, it used to be a really good place for Huntin' Slash.
It's a great line. As kids, we were just like,
found me something though. That's my Sully impersonation.
Yeah, that's pretty good. So that might be a good place to start digging for clues. This Sully's a real slime ball, he says. Kirby tells Mantrix not to get killed out there. No chance. The title card, no chance, comes up again. And then he instructs John to punch him out to make the escape seem authentic. And psh, Mantrix knocks him out, and we are officially on the hunt. You know what I've been on the hunt for here lately, boys?
What have you been on the hunt for?
That's right. Tobacco Special cigars, made by the almighty Drew Estate. Same folks who brought you Liga Privada, Undercrown, Nica Rustica, and more. Your choice of either extra dark Connecticut broadleaf or natural Connecticut shade wrappers, envelope, a Sumatra binder, and Nicaraguan Criollo filler leaves. Before aging, the cigars are slowly infused with Nicaraguan estate-grown coffee. The smoke is medium to full-bodied, depending on the wrapper. Its rich tobacco flavors commingling with the unmistakable aroma of coffee and some sweetness. I'm a fan, and you'll be too. Is there a chance you won't like them?
There's no chance.
That's right, Yak Boy. So seek them out. Speaking of cigars, how you guys enjoying the Montecristo No. 2?
I like it.
A lot?
The bread has kind of gone toasty.
Well, it's because you set it on fire.
I know.
It hasn't gone out yet. Had to work at it a little bit. But,
mine has just because I've been running my mouth. Flavor-wise, Doc, where you at?
It hasn't really changed. A little more, a tiny, I hesitate to say spice.
On the nose?
There's a
little bit.
It's
yeah,
there.
There's a little bit there.
Oh, it's there.
Yeah.
It's a nice spice.
Yeah, I'm enjoying it.
Kind of hangs in the top of your nose just a little bit.
It's still a soft, mild cigar.
Mine's picking up just a little bit. Little gauge is going a little bit between the mild and the medium.
Yeah, I'm not getting
gotten a little stronger.
But bread and leather is where I'm at on the flavor profile.
Yeah, and it's not really changed, but those flavors have intensified a little bit as it gets a little bit deeper into the cigar.
Yakbo, you liking it?
I am.
Yeah, it's smooth.
It's extremely smooth,
incredibly
man.
smooth cigar. And the beer, we haven't really talked about the beer at all.
Which is great. For a really fine cigar. This beer gets out of the way.
Oh yeah,
It's refreshing. It's fine, but it's out of the way.
Solid Pilsner. I like it.
I do too. And there's so many times where, like I said, I've said it before, in this day and age when you've got just the entire spectrum of beers up on the wall, sometimes when it's just balls hot or I don't really want to think about anything, I just want a nice German style Pilsner. I think this is a nice fit for that.
It is refreshing. Doctor,
I agree with Leif Garrett.
Is it refreshing? It's not your fault, man. It's not your fault. Actually, he looks like the guy Leif Garrett ran over or whatever. Am I in some kind of trouble now?
Yes.
I was supposed to say no chance.
Nice, smooth, good warm weather.
It's refreshing. And it does have just a little tiny bite on the front end. So you're not drinking just a domestic light beer. It's nice.
That's about all you can say.
It's nice. It's cheap, nice. I was not aware they were bought by Miller. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Son of a bitch.
Everybody out of here. Is there a chance I would have still featured it knowing that it was bought by Miller?
No chance.
No chance.
There's a modicum of a chance.
Yeah.
It was the only gun-themed beer I could find, so
I like
slight
that
chance.
Because of the low ABV, perhaps it's not fighting the cigar at all. Not that there's anything really to fight, so it's kind of a good matchup.
Oh yeah, if we had hit this bad boy with that real heavy IPA,
that Save the World triple
Or
with all that
triple.
stuff.
Those watermelon Four Locos Kate asked me to pick up on the way over here.
no,
Totally would have dominated it.
I honestly, the only thing I could see maybe going with this is a medium. And I'm not a fan of these beers at all, but for some reason, I think maybe a porter would go well with a cigar. Not a stout, but maybe a porter.
Porter? I can see that. Definitely.
I want a light, smooth coffee. That's all I want. Light, smooth coffee.
I take it back. You are no Leif Garrett.
Down at the quad on the campus, sipping your coffee with your morning.
With my portable LP.
Okay.
Dude, he's totally going to go hipster.
What?
He's going to be going to the Arcade Fire concerts. And
For our listeners who've enjoyed us for 98 episodes, our young man Tut over there has gone back to school.
I am old man on. I'm old man Tut on
Man
campus.
and we couldn't be more proud of him. Right,
Matter of
guys?
fact,
I'm going back to school.
Matter of fact, I was sitting in class and one of the kids was like, the professor was like, so this is pretty much exactly what's going to be on the test. And the kid was just like, oh man, that is HH. That is HH. All right, yeah, that's HH. And I was like, Sidge, because his name's Sidge. And I was like,
Sage?
Sidge.
Sidge.
Yes, I think it's SIDH.
Okay.
And well, it's a very long name, but that's
Gotcha.
what he was like.
Gotcha.
And I was like,
We'll call him Strong.
I was like, Strong, for the old man in class, what does HH mean? He goes, Hulk Hogan. That's Hulk Hogan.
How did it apply to...
It's cool.
So you realize the young kids know who Hulk Hogan is, now you're wearing headbands everywhere?
No, but now I should bring the old school Hulkamania.
I swear to
headband.
God, if you try to rip your shirt off at any point tonight, you are... Well, that might be...
Fight for the rights of every man.
That's gonna go. Let me tell you something, Sage.
Let me tell you something, Sidge. I was busting computer classes back in the 1990s. Oh my God, you're old, dude.
Tell you something about DOS, brother.
What?
Good luck, Tut.
Thank you.
We're all rooting
Thank
for you. Well, getting back to Mantrix, We now find ourselves
Crap,
at
now I just want to do Hulk Hogan impersonations.
We already did No Holds Barred. Go back and watch that episode, by the way. It was a lot funnier than this one so far. But
Fight for the rights
I think we did a
of
really strong beer on the No Holds Barred. We got really fucked up. Which, hey, we're just getting started. We're just getting warmed up. Dookie. Do you know who his brother is?
Ixnay on the brother A.
All right. Hey, we should show up in Tut's class. Do you know what podcast he's on? We now find ourselves at the Hunt and Slash nightclub. We got to get some of those coasters.
Yes, we do.
Which, if this thing had gone through like Kickstarter or like, you know, Indiegogo to fund this movie, they could have done so many, like, you know, get your photo taken with Bennett and or Hunt and Slash coasters, or they could have done all sorts of fun stuff.
They may have done that. They probably got, you know, just like these giant boxes full of Hunt and Slash coasters in a garage somewhere. Like, what am I going to do with these things?
Oh yeah, I've been there. I got a big garage, thank God.
I was about to say, I don't know.
Maybe they get another beer and a whole carton of Bad Hand cigarettes falls out.
I don't know.
Maybe they actually did a Kickstarter or something on this thing.
I didn't find it.
You didn't?
No, I found nothing.
That's
My
crazy,
research
yeah.
provided nothing.
Nothing. Nah.
No, dude, your poncho. I tried IMDb, I tried Instagram, I tried Kickstarter, I found nothing.
It's like it just appeared. It is. It's like this movie just all of a sudden showed up.
Says the internet came alive and took it.
Hey, could Hunt and Slash be our boy band name?
We're not getting a fucking boy band.
No, sorry. At the Hunt and Slash nightclub, Sully is there making a sleazy come on to some skank at the bar before she rejects him flat out. Which I guess wouldn't make her a skank if she rejected him. She was still day drinking at the Hunt and Slash.
That's fine with me.
Did they give an address for that place?
Especially if she's there.
Now, while this actor doesn't look anything like Commando's David Patrick Kelly, his voice is close enough and his demeanor is so spot on that it really worked.
His demeanor actually is. I mean, in terms of like actions and the way he holds his body and everything, the way he's got the snark there.
I need you to watch these 5 scenes over and over and just become
He nailed it.
He nails it. I believe him as Sully. I mean, you know, he looks like he's Sully down the road a little bit.
Well, he's also wearing that same black kind of frosted pattern blazer.
Yeah,
that he
no,
has
they
on.
dressed him, but I mean, just the way he carries himself.
And you know Sully would be wearing that after
I still
that.
think, yeah.
That's what he had on.
Dusted off after he fell off that cliff. Remember when you say pay for my dry cleaning matrix? Oh, and he's using a cane now, so that explains, you know, he went off that cliff.
He got dropped down the cliff.
In the first movie, but he's got a cane now, so it makes sense.
Remember when I said
I
I'd
would
kill
like to
you
know, 'cause,
last?
I mean, he just sort of glossed over that one. He lived. He just, you know, limped away.
He's got a cane.
But if you go back, I mean, it literally was like a 200-foot cliff.
They show him like splat on a boulder.
That's right, Matrix, you did.
Hey man, this guy works too. He's not him and the Barrett guy are, man, how'd they find these dudes? Oh yeah, he wrote it. As Mantrix enters the nightclub, the girl who accepted a free drink from Sully as a peace offering for hitting on her is now walking up to Sully asking if there's a back room where she can do him.
Where was the hunting slash?
Your first thought here is she was roofied because he bought her that drink. He owns the club. But we're going to find out, Yak Boy,
Is that
later.
everyone's first assumption? God.
She could have changed her mind in those 10 seconds. No, we're going to find out it was something way more sinister, aren't we?
Oh, yes.
Oh, yes.
I can't hear you, Sully. It'll say it again. Get fucked.
Oh, man.
Sorry.
Well, a couple...
Going into my what's his name?
David Patrick Kelly. Yeah. His best role ever and Bruce Willis's Last Man Standing.
Oh, yeah.
God, he was awesome as the Irish gangster in that one. He was really good. Oh, he was good in The Warriors, too.
Yes.
Warriors come out and play. That was him. He's a really good character actor. 48 Hours he was in.
Yes.
Well, a couple of Sully's henchmen approach Mantrix as he's carrying a huge military suitcase into this nightclub. And when they ask him to open it up, he starts punching them in the face. A full-out brawl breaks out. Pool sticks are broken over Mantrix's back. But he finally bashes the last thug in the head with an 8-ball from the pool table, and he looks at the camera. Magic 8 Ball says, don't count on it.
Don't count on it.
And then he takes off after the limping Sully. A car chase ensues. Hey, college boy, am I using the word ensues correctly? Oh, you haven't taken English class yet? Okay, sorry. Yak boy, am I using
correct?
Okay, thanks. I'll stay with you with those questions. If I get a question about disk drives or something like that, I'll ask you.
Nobody uses those anymore.
No, they don't.
As Mantrix...
But we still have to learn about it.
That's what I have all our TNCC stuff saved on.
Oh, man, shit.
That's between us and the IRS. So you listeners, don't worry. We'll be here for the long run. Do you guys hear cars pulling up outside? As Mantrix, he's attached a tracer...
Get to the donkey.
on the Sully's sports car. One of the things Kirby gave him was this tracer and a little screen to track people. The nighttime exteriors and the interior car footage all look good here. Sometimes that in a low-budget feature, those are crippling as far as filming night, outdoor stuff at night. But no, the car chase looks good. Things inside the car looks good. And the Total Recall style animation of the tracking computer.
I loved it.
That is totally the same screen they track, Quaid on in Total Recall. And they even steal the bleeping noise from Total Recall. It's exact same. This thing's made by fans. It's a really nice touch.
They obviously, they had some cash, as you pointed out. This was not, even though it's obviously low budget to make a hour and 30-minute thing, it's going to cost you.
I don't think this is low budget, to tell you the truth.
That was one of my questions.
I just mean relative to a $100 million Hollywood feature.
Absolutely.
I'm saying it wasn't made for $10,000.
Are you going to sink that much money into this thing on the risk of being sued by...
I don't see. That's the thing I don't understand.
Warner Brothers and being like, dude, you can't make a sequel to our movie. Oh, it's satire. Hey, our $1 million lawyers say otherwise. What are you going to do? You just spent $500,000 on this movie and you can't show it to anybody?
Jeff Bezos is like, fuck that. I got 4 guys who's going to watch it. I bet there's more. Let them go ahead and make it.
Just there for us. Well, apparently we're the only ones who've watched it. Sully pulls up to
the director's probably going to get back with you like in 2 weeks going, oh shit, I forgot I even made this.
Sully pulls up outside a mobile home and limps inside while 2 fully uniformed soldiers push each other on a rope swing outside. Hey, you ever cut warm butter with a knife? See, it's like cutting a young girl's throat. Which of course is a line from the original. But then Mantrix sneaks up behind them and easily stabs them both through the heart with a giant knife. And he giggles, I can't believe you're not butter.
That was actually really funny.
Doctor, you were a big fan of that one, right?
I like that one. It was a good touch.
After easily bashing in the skull of another freedom fighter on guard duty, who looked a lot like Barrett. I think the guy playing Barrett actually stood in for a lot of different mustached characters.
For all the resources the country of Valverde has, they've got a shit-ass army.
Oh, they're horrible. Mantrix breaks into the back of a semi-truck that contains a mother load of weaponry. Like, that's my biggest... Where'd the filmmakers get all this shit? Rats
the weapons
rats.
in this thing is just crazy.
Were they like members of is the director like a member of a militia? Like a survivalist?
Maybe that's why he didn't respond to you.
Yeah, that's why he didn't respond to me.
Uh-oh, these cocksuckers are on to me.
I do know that all
if
of
you
their...
guys see a red dot on me tonight,
I'm going to step outside for a moment.
All of their gear looked really, really good.
And it was uniform. There was like a whole rack of machine guns that looked the same. Landmines looked real. Grenades looked great. I don't know. So Mantrix straps up, basically recreating the exact look from Commando, and he's officially in business.
Maybe that's it. Looked real. Maybe they killed like 47 people making this thing.
That's why he didn't respond to my Facebook message. Well, there's even some totally unexplained smoke pouring in the back of the semi when he walks out, just like the smoke in Commando.
I wish they would have done the gear up scene like a good 3 minutes of just him just keep on and keep on, because there was that one YouTube clip where somebody looped that whole scene for like 10 minutes, and I laugh my butt off every time I see that. And I wish that they would have just given a little nod to that.
You guys have Cutter? I need to clip a little more off the... That's funny, because whenever we're doing our little films and I want to take a joke way too far, you fight me tooth and nail.
But I've seen the video and I laughed on it, and I thought it would have been a good little nod to the fan stuff.
Okay. This also might be as good a time as he's suiting up to talk about the soundtrack by Mark Poitras. I'm assuming a direct relative of the director, same last name. He does a really good job of incorporating James Horner's Caribbean drum vibes from the original Commando. He does some orchestral stuff. Orchestral stuff, and at times he almost directly does a clone of the.
He does a good variation on it.
It does. It's almost a direct clone of the original score, but he does mix it up. There's a lot of Harold Faltermeyer's classic Running Man synth stuff thrown in there too. It's all executed really well for what the film's trying to do. And at this point in the film, I think the film is doing what it's trying to do very successfully. Agreed?
Be a spoof
you guys
and be funny.
on board at this point?
Oh yeah.
Okay. I was just really nervous because I had the doctor watch this first, and I was like, I want to do this film. I know I'm going to do the film and podcast, but I don't know if it's a doctor episode or the Three of Us episode. There's a difference. Because I didn't know if doctor would sit down and watch this thing and be like, I was very, very curious to get his reaction on this film, and I'm glad you dug it. I'm glad you had a good time with it.
I was drinking heavily, but
I told you
there
to.
you go.
I told you
Yeah.
to. That was my doctor's orders.
Again,
Were you guys drinking when you watched it?
he's going to another doctor.
Were you drinking when you watched it?
Oh yeah, he was saying that he was your doctor.
He was being the doctor giving the orders
I
at
gotcha.
that point. I didn't like that either, but you know.
You gonna let it slide this time?
Yeah, I had some scotch and out on the back deck and doing my thing.
All right. When Mantrix emerges from the tractor trailer, it's surprisingly light outside all of a sudden. It was pitch dark when he went in. How long was he in that thing?
Again, stretch that scene out.
And after walking around the compound planning landmines and whatnot, he discovers Cheney in a warehouse.
Oh, one comment on that real quick.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't really notice it, but I hadn't paid too much attention to it. Recently I rewatched The Road Warrior, and I was looking at the IMDb notes, and it never occurred to me while watching. I'm going to have to go back and look at it, but is it George
Miller.
He was saying that was, at the time, a relatively low-budget movie.
Yeah.
And he was saying that sometimes all of a sudden it was night and it was day, and he said that we just had to do it that way. We didn't always have the continuity of night and day because we just had to shoot the scenes when we could shoot them.
When you could shoot them, yeah.
Yeah. I notice it in certain films. Hey, in the original Predator, there's a couple different glaring examples where they're in the jungle and it's daylight, and all of a sudden they'll do another shot and it'll be almost dusk. I mean, sometimes you got to do what you got to do. Maybe this was poking fun at that because it was so glaringly obvious. But yeah, I mean, that's something, if you're trying to get a scene down at 5 o'clock and the sun's up and it's a heavy scene and all of a sudden
doesn't match what you were doing at 11 a.m. You just got to do it.
You just got to do it,
Yeah.
and we just tell Tut, fix that in post.
Yeah, okay.
Get us some sun in there.
Okay.
Daddy, you made it. Or I'm sorry, she doesn't say it like that. She says, Daddy, you made it. Very flat line response from Cheney. Cheney, thank God you're alive. We got to get out of here. But suddenly his beloved Cheney handcuffs Mantrix to some scaffolding. Was that scaffolding?
It was scaffolding.
I was going to say a shelving unit, but it was scaffolding, wasn't it? And before he can ask too many questions, which you don't get the feeling Mantrix ever asks too many questions, Barrett walks down the stairs. How could Barrett possibly be alive after the events in the first film? He's got a pipe through his chest. Well, you see, the steel pipe is still embedded in his body. We can clearly see it sticking out his belly and out his back. It turns out Mantrix threw it perfectly, or imperfectly, I guess, back in 1985, where it missed all of his vital organs, and the steam coming out of it cauterized the wounds perfectly. He's fine. Doctor, is this possible?
I love that touch, and I mean, the way they explain it, also using the word cauterized, a word I first heard in Predator.
I thought it'd be funny as a doctor. I had to look it up. I didn't know what that term meant.
I've given things a good cauterizing before.
Oh, I bet.
I wouldn't think it was possible, but given their reasoning, I don't see why not. My God, though, what pain he must be in.
Hey, you do see stories where like a guy will get a nail in his head or something will happen and they'll be like, it didn't hit anything, we just got to leave it there. Like it perfectly missed his brain. And
Well, in regards to everything else in the film, when I first saw this, he just explained it and you're like, that makes sense. I can live with it.
And it's just really funny to see this guy walking around with his pipe stick. It's not like he cut it off. It's just like, I don't know, maybe 6 inches out the front and 6 inches out the back. And he is still wearing the exact outfit from...
Well, I mean, he couldn't change clothes.
He showers
it's
in this
perfect
thing.
1980s movie logic.
Yeah.
Like, it fits. You're like...
Yeah, okay.
It is the 80s movie logic.
Don't you want to stick that knife of yours in me, Barrett? Mantrix asks. Oh, I'll stick it in you, Barrett says with a twinkle in his eye. There were always some questions about Bennett in the film with that outfit of his and that mustache. And he
I
said,
mean, a sleeveless black T-shirt, a chainmail tank top, a little locket necklace, leather pants, fingerless gloves.
I never questioned it.
Perfectly trimmed mustache.
I never questioned it as a 8-year-old boy, but maybe that's what he was going for.
I really hope people will watch this on YouTube. That way they can see our weird glance there and not just listen to us
But
laugh at that.
just then, as Barrett says he's going to stick it in John, General Arias' son and successor, Generalissimo Felipe Arias, walks in. And he's brought a mad German scientist named Dr. Mengele to drug Mantrix with a mind control substance.
Mengele.
What did I say, Mengele?
No,
they say Mengele, but I believe that it's a play on the famous Nazi torture doctor, Dr. Joseph Mengele.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
You would know that. Mengele. But I said
They
it.
say in the film they're calling it
Yeah,
Mengele.
he's Dr. Mengele. Okay. He's got a mind control substance that they're planning on using to brainwash a small army to help
Sounds
them.
like someone's taking a little history 101 over there.
Oh, did you learn that in college boy?
No, actually, I fall asleep to the History Channel.
Oh, that's right.
Me too.
They're going to brainwash. They're going to brainwash a new army to reclaim Valverde, and that's what Sully put in that skank's drink at the bar. Was the mind
juice.
control serum? Yeah.
How about you hand me a little more mind control serum?
I will. Doctor, have you ever encountered a similar elixir in your years of picking up bar skanks?
I need no elixirs to pick up bar skanks.
But have you encountered?
Have you ever
one?
heard of such a thing?
Oh, sure. Yeah, I'm it's possible.
Where?
Hunt/Tavern.
At the Hunt/Tavern. All right. I'm gonna have to check out this tavern.
What's that one bar?
I tell you what, you come in there wearing the bandana, we're gonna clean house, brother.
Fuck yeah.
What was that bar by your place, Doctor? Jack Easy Rabbits or
Daddy Rabbits.
Daddy Rabbits?
Daddy Rabbits.
I haven't been to Daddy Rabbits.
What's interesting is, I guess the Drunken Donkey wanted to get a new clientele, so they changed it to like the something brewery and
the Classy Donkey Brewery,
Scratch Kitchen and something.
We didn't go to the Drunken Donkey, but we did partake of the Rack and Tap one night there while we were in Louisville.
Oh, in the Doctor's territory?
Uh-huh.
Okay. Well,
that may have recently shuttered. I'm not sure.
It doesn't surprise me.
In this big warehouse where they're having this scene, I should mention, there's an old-timey real biplane hanging from the rafters above them. Like, whoever location scouted in Texas for this movie found them some really cool places to do stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, well done.
I'm thinking, because there are several air museums, and there is one in San Marcos.
There could be, yeah.
So, but that most of that there is like, World War II stuff. But I mean, I'm not saying that they don't have that they may have not have other planes.
But trust me,
but I mean, it is a giant hangar.
As someone who's been making films, feature films, short films around Texas for 20 years, give or take, it's not easy to get people to open their doors for you. I can only imagine going to the National Air Museum in San Antonio and be like, hey, I want to bring in this guy with a mustache and the pipe sticking through him and this chick in a bikini. Yeah, sure. Have the run of the place. I mean, people are very...
Hell, Cody's brother almost shot me when I showed up dressed as Fool for Unreliables.
People are very weird about letting you film, and they found really cool locations for this movie.
Yeah.
Well, before Dr. Mengele can prick Mantrix with the giant syringe, Mantrix breaks free of his shackles and kicks all their asses. As the soldiers all arm themselves out in the tractor trailer, it's battle time. Generalissimo goes out there to give him a pep talk, and he fires his gun, and he's in the doorway of the semi-truck, so it just blows all their eardrums out. I thought that was a nice little touch. Mantrix commandeers a giant backhoe bulldozer, the very same model created by our friends over at Case Tractors. When you're surrounded by Latino freedom fighters, there's no better equipment for the job. He's driving around on a bulldozer now, and an epic battle ensues.
Epic indeed. The fact that he actually uses the backhoe
To like knock dudes over and like as the rebels' bullets bounce off the front of the bulldozer, Doctor, I couldn't help but appreciate as a throwback to Raw Deal.
Yes.
When Arnold's driving the bulldozer through the gravel pits and fighting the Chicago mob, and all their bullets are bouncing off the front, like another nice touch. Mantrix swings the front of the vehicle, knocking one dude out cold. Watch your back, ho. That was a good one. All the guns firing, the grenades, the mortars, the rocket launchers blowing shit
That was
up.
Tut's reaction to the joke with some Arnold.
It all looks really good for a seemingly independent, low-budget endeavor. I was impressed. I've watched a lot of like straight-to-video on Amazon and Netflix, like legitimate action films
Yeah.
that have not as good gunfire and explosions as this. Like, shit looks great. And a lot of it looks practical. The explosions, a lot of the bloods, there's a little bit of digital blood in some scenes, but there's a lot of squibs going off. Like, okay. I also really dug how the freedom fighters, when they got shot, all did the little dance and made the high-pitched squeals like they did in Commando. They'll do little fingers up in the air. Dude, that was great.
And when, in the old school 80s, when you were shooting someone with a machine gun, rather than fall down, they would almost do like a marionette dance as each bullet went pumping into them.
Dance. They just do this little, like the worst way to die, like dancing and like a little girl scream. Didn't sign up for that, did they? Well, Cheney jumps on the back of a four-wheel ATV driven by Barrett, and they race off. So Mantrix takes over an ATV of his own, and the chase is on. But some other rebels on ATVs give him trouble, of course. This reminded me of the snowmobile scene in the opening of True Lies, when he's getting chased by those snowmobiles. But dude, we see the guy playing, we see John Mantrix playing John Mantrix. He's skinned through mud. He's jumping over, not crazy jumps, but I mean, it's pretty well done little ATV chase. They're fist fighting each other on the things. Like, it's not bad.
It's not bad at all.
Just because you're doing a spoof comedy in its silliest cinematic form, it doesn't mean you can't flex your filmmaking muscle a little bit and show some skill. Eventually, Mantrix and a rebel charge at each other straight ahead in a game of chicken, and right before they collide, we cut to the No Chance title card, overplayed with some soft jazz music. Even their budget couldn't afford to show these two dudes hit each other. When it goes away, we see Mantrix passed out in the wreckage, and he flashes back to the scene in Commando when Barrett's men have him wrestled to the ground, and Barrett walks over and points his gun at him. You kicked me out of your unit, John. I swore I'd have payback, and you know what today is. Payback Day.
Done.
Best delivery in the film. He kind of looks at it like that.
Well, because he does like the little confusion. Payback Day.
It was good.
It should have been the line in the original film, Payday. You know what today is, John. Payday. That would have been a better line.
I like the payback day with the
no, it's funny
there.
here,
It's
but
funny.
I think they were just saying, why wouldn't you? Anyway. His delivery there was very funny. Mantrix gets up, stumbles away to a country highway where he's immediately run over by a car driven by the lovely Dr. Dawn Bergman.
Dawn Bergman.
We agree she was lovely?
She was pretty.
Okay. I'm having a little trouble keeping my cigar lit, and I don't think it's just because of me talking.
I had to go out once.
Okay, that's not bad. I mean,
it wasn't
that happens. You guys are being okay with
I'm
that?
having
Keeping it
kind of the
lit,
same
I cut
thing.
a little bit. The draw, I take a couple drags like it's out, but then it kicks in all of a sudden.
This is definitely one where you really need to mind it.
You got to stay on top of
Yeah.
it.
Right.
But also, like, you know,
Yeah, I do too.
me and Mincy, we're burning this thing down faster than you guys are. So
Still liking it?
Oh yeah,
Anything still leather, breadiness?
No, there's not a lot of transition at all. It's still breadiness, leatheriness, occasional bit of toast. It's a dry palate cigar, like leaves your palate a bit dry, and I like that. It's a nice change for a while.
Yex, agreed.
About the same, yeah.
Okay. Well, at the Valverde Liberation Army Post, Barrett is inspecting guns he's in charge of purchasing from the tough female arms dealer, Miss Maelstrom. I'm sorry, watching him conduct business with that pipe sticking through his chainmail vest, like, I'm on board. No matter where this goes, as long as he has scenes and he's walking around with that pipe in his chest. Sully's there too, and he tells Generalissimo that he's been giving those cocktails spiked with the brainwashing elixir to thousands of his bar patrons over at the Hunt and Slash, and Generalissimo will have his army soon. He'll have 1,000 of us soon. I don't know if that's an army, but I'm not sure those guys are the top-notch recruits Generalissimo was hoping for. No, it's going to be our worthless asses showing up. As the bad guys are chatting, Chenny suddenly snaps out of her drug-induced haze and pulls a gun on him. "My dad isn't an assassin," she barks, before Miss Maelstrom punches her out and snatches her rifle away. Turns out Chenny needs a higher dose of the drug as she's a strong-minded individual, Dr. Mengel explains. Unlike the drunken sheep you're training, TNCC style. He actually said that, which makes me think they know who we are. We don't know who these guys are. They know who we are.
That's why he never responded to you. Uh-oh. I can owe them some money.
Once Chenny is given a booster shot...
He's actually 3 doors down.
My neighbor. Sully offers to take her back to her quarters when Barrett makes it clear that Sully isn't to rape her before her special day. They're getting married.
I don't want to spoil.
Sully says, "Don't worry about it. She's not my type. She's got man hands." And she does. That next shot, she does have kind of mannish hands. Once Sully's led Chenny away, as she walks off, she's staring at her. Even in haze, she's still like, "Oh, man."
I was fine with her.
Miss Maelstrom demands to be paid, as whatever they do is their business, but her business is business, and she doesn't want to be left holding the bag when Mantrix shows up again. "We have a plan for Mantrix." I didn't know if that was Mengel or Barrett saying that. It's kind of my combination of both of them.
With a little bit of Barbeau thrown in there.
No, Barrett says, "We have a plan for John Mantrix." And Maelstrom says this, "Yeah, and you had a plan for getting dressed this morning. Look how that turned out." That was a good one, too. That was a good burn. She cauterized his feelings.
Cauterized.
I've heard it both ways.
No, yeah.
But Dr. Mengel does see Mantrix as the true threat he is, so he offers Ms. Maelstrom an extra 30% of gold to help take him out. And to spice up the deal, he offers the services of the one and only Crimson Cockroach, who just happens to hold a vendetta against Mantrix. Oh, that's not good, is he, X?
It is not. It is not.
No. Meanwhile, back at Dr. Dawn Bergman's place, she did what any woman who runs over someone she thinks is evil, she took him back to her apartment. We find her holding a pistol to Mantrix.
Girls love bad boys.
They do. As he recovers from being plowed into her by her car. Turns out she's been following him ever since she saw him at the Hunt and Slash nightclub, where she was looking for her missing sister, Sandy. That was the last place Sandy was seen, so Sandy's a skank too, right? What respectable chick is going in here?
I think I want to just have a nice little...
Different strokes for different folks, Mr. Cade.
It wasn't even a
I'm not
strip
judging.
club. It was just a bar. Like,
I want to go have a nice Chardonnay down at the Hunt and Slash.
There was an old dude at the bar, the only guy at the bar, an old guy wearing Tut's headphones. Did you guys see that?
I did not see that.
If we'd ever gone into that Royal Tux Club outside the America's Best Value, and I got the feeling it would look like the Hunt
I
and
had
Slash.
the feeling it would be the Hunt and Slash.
And you're not getting a nice Chardonnay in there, Tut.
And not nearly as nice pool tables. Well, that was the last place Sandy was seen, who I'm sure is a very respectable girl. Where'd she go missing? She was at the Hunt and Slash at 2 p.m. on a Wednesday.
The doctor will know where she is.
are you sure she's missing?
Turns out Sandy was just a raging alcoholic.
She would never do anything like that, but she did go to the hunt and slash. I really wish they'd make that joke. Like,
Is she
go to the hunt and slash?
Is she checking in there on Facebook? Take a picture of her brainwash elixir cocktail. Checking in at the hunt and slash. We're really worried about Sandy. You should be. Well, when Dr. Don Bergman went there to find Sandy, she saw Mantrix kicking all those dudes' asses and followed him to the compound where she saw these explosions and shit. So she figures he's got some answers.
And so I hit him with my vehicle.
Well, that was an accident. He stumbled out.
The Magic 8 Ball says, no chance.
No chance. Maybe next time. Well, he easily snatches the gun from her that she was pointing at him and explains to her, I was just there terminating some assholes. He's looking for someone too. My daughter, Chenny. Oh, your daughter Jenny's missing? No, Chenny.
No, Chenny.
He then hands her this wedding save the date card that Chenny sent him in the mental hospital, which shows a happy Chenny smiling while a grinning Bennett holds a giant knife to her throat. There's another one of them riding ATVs together, and then another, it's like a montage, you know, those little cards, save the date. Another one of her, like, stroking his knife. It's a funny little card. There's also, you guys didn't like the save the date card?
I guess didn't really just stop to pay attention to it.
She's pretty and all, but she has really shitty taste in men. How'd she end up with the creepy mustache guy? Dr. Don Bergman says. Mantrix explains the history with Barrett going back 10 years and how he broke out to rescue Chenny once again.
He broke out.
So you broke out of prison, she asks apprehensively. No, a mental institution. And Chenny wouldn't be with them unless something was wrong with her mind. Does that run in the family?
It was a nice little
She kind of takes a step back from him. Mantrix pulls out the syringe he stole filled with the mind control serum. And get this shit. Dr. Don Bergman is a fucking biochemist. And she can analyze this shit at her lab to find out what's been going on.
Hell yeah.
How fortuitous. Did I use the term Oh, wait. Yeah,
yes.
Did I use the
yes,
term
you did.
Okay.
I'm actually
spot on.
I'm actually in English. I just don't want to answer these questions.
But they have to go right now, she says. The sooner she can analyze it, the sooner they can save her sister Sandy and Jenny.
It is not out of bounds to
Jenny!
meet a nice
So
biochemist
Sandy
at the
can get back
Hunt and
to
Slash
going
Tavern
to the Hunt and Slash.
on a Wednesday.
On a Wednesday
They
afternoon.
they have to relax too.
Yax just had a very good point. They rescue Sandy. You want to throw some money in on if she's back at the Hunt and Slash the next day?
You know she is.
This is a new start for you, Sandy. You can do great things with your life now.
I'll be at the old HS.
I could enroll back in school with that guy with the headband.
You should throw that out.
I'm going to the Hunt and
You
Slash.
should throw that out in your class. HS. What is that, man?
Hunt
Hold
slash.
somebody?
Slash.
No, Hunt and Slash, buddy.
Try it. Let us know how it goes.
I shall. Actually, my professor would probably laugh.
Is he younger than you?
No.
Okay, good. We cut to an empty warehouse where a heavily mulleted dude is doing crunches while smoking a hand-rolled cigarette. Miss Maelstrom interrupts his workout to ask him if he remembers Afghanistan. Predator line. Yes, I remember Afghanistan. How's my Russian? Serviceable. He says, as we cut to a flashback of Afghanistan, and there are jets soaring overhead and a giant Russian military vehicle parked. Seriously, how'd he get this shit?
They've got some budget, man.
Where do you find the shit in Texas?
Surplus?
Well, I'm gonna,
Russian military vehicle?
Well, if he's here, if
Jet planes
if he's
soaring
here in
overhead?
Central Time, if he's here, well, that was CG.
And none of it could have been stock footage of any kind?
No,
Yeah,
because they
that-
show the characters in it.
Well, no, the jets are probably
Oh, okay, well, the
CG
jets-
type
I was
stuff.
pretty
Now
drunk by the
yeah.
time I got to this point in the movie.
But I mean, they've got National Guard armories all over the place. I mean,
Yeah, and
you
we've
can-
learned from
you can
history
get
they'll
it.
just let you use that shit.
Well, if you probably have the money to pay them, they might.
If you show up with a PVC pipe through your
Well,
chest, they might not ask any questions.
maybe Barrett is a reservist.
Well,
Maybe
yeah,
one of them has some connections in.
maybe they do.
I mean, we knew what a colonel that got us where.
Nowhere, no chance.
That's what he told us. Hey, we're doing a stupid short film about a bunch of guys and a. Can we get a
Hey, is there
military?
any way we can get a military headquarter? My lifelong friend. No
No
chance.
chance. Okay.
Good call by him.
Can we just get close enough to take a picture? No.
The Soviet soldiers start playing some upbeat Middle
I don't want you
Eastern
anywhere on that base.
dance music.
Sure, I'm going to take you 4 guys to a little place called Guantanamo Bay.
Where
Can
we
we get a
going?
helicopter though?
HS. GB.
GB.
All right. Well, the Soviet soldiers start playing some upbeat Middle Eastern dance music on an old transistor radio. Before you know it, they're all dancing their fucking asses off. Man, they're squatting down, kicking their legs out. They're humping bushes. They're raising the fucking roof. It's a really funny scene. And we see the heavily mulleted guy, Yakov, in a flashback.
Also a nice touch.
Joining in on the fun. He's got real short hair and a beret at this point.
It made me laugh at that point.
Yakov?
I don't. Yeah. I don't know why I laughed at this scene, but I totally did.
Oh, no. There's also a prisoner there with a burlap sack over his head, covered in blood. He's dancing, starts dancing his ass off. And they stay on that bloody prisoner with the sack on his head, dancing. And all of them dancing, you knew for so long. And I was just like, this is beautiful. I love comedy that goes for it. And this scene goes on so long and so extreme. It won me over by doing both those things. I think great cinematic comedy is often truly absurd, and this scene does just that with precision skill. I mean, it was basically like an ISIS guy about to get his head cut off, and he's dancing, and the music is so ridiculous.
Well, it's almost like like Mel Brooks in the Spanish Inquisition scene where the prisoners are up there. Yeah.
I couldn't stop laughing at this scene. I thought it was just...
Call those a Siberian soiree.
Great. Well, just then word comes in on the walkie-talkie from Moscow that they want that bloody prisoner who's dancing around transferred, but they got no escorts to get him to their final destination. It's all on this very footloose and fancy-free squad to get him there.
Your best trained, best equipped soldiers.
Still in flashback mode, we then cut to an American army base where Mantrick is lighting up a stogie as his men, including Barrett, load their weapons in preparation for battle. This is very much the scene from Predator when he's getting his plans. The other soldiers don't really understand why Barrett is wearing a chainmail vest, with one
here with the headphones.
With one even delivering the Yak Boy classic line as he looks at Barrett in the chainmail. What the fuck?
Which I thought was classic. I mean, seriously, like
who dresses
this is
like
the thing
this?
that we always said from Commando. I mean, he never changes. He goes everywhere. He's in the airport, like with guns and knives on. Like, I'll see you, John. I'll be waiting. Like, I mean,
sir, can you remove the chainmail?
Pre 9/11, you can walk
else,
into an airport
Matrix
like that.
could have just leaned out the window. Excuse me, security. That guy has a gun. What?
Who? Oh, leather pants, dog tags, chainmail. Yeah, that guy. Well, General Kirby enters the room and gives them their marching orders to rescue the U.S. captive. Barrett says, we don't need help from those Afghan rebels, and Kirby reminds him, this is not a game, as we see the military map on the table littered with game pieces and dice.
Yeah, it's like there was an old game called Axis and Allies. I think those are those pieces.
But this was a very rare Zucker Brothers, Pat Proft, Jim Abrams kind of airplane, Naked Gun. This is the first kind of attempt at humor like this. This is not a game, and it is a game. Like, I liked it. It was Hot Shots all of a sudden.
Yeah.
Part 2?
Part 2.
War. It's fantastic.
Which, by the way, Part 2 is a far superior film to the first Hot Shots.
Overall, yes. The first Hot Shots, there were certain scenes in there where I busted a gut, but like, dude, it was not a complete. It was. The first one was just like a series of scenes.
Do went crazy.
Yeah.
And Do went nuts.
From start to finish.
From start to finish. I mean, by the end of it, you had Do all over your face. Mantrix tells his men to not keep the flyboys waiting. Let's get to the chopper.
Let's get to the chopper.
And get this. Unlike our sorry asses, they actually have a fucking chopper to get to. No green screen. We see him get in it.
It's an actual
chopper. And then we
chopper.
cut up in the sky with
And
them
there's an
flying
actual
in it.
chopper.
And it's them sitting in it.
We got in a chopper.
Yeah. Go watch our hipster film. Tell me that's not the interior of a chopper. Got a little bit of lightning outside the corner of No Hope tonight. Hey, come on. You tell me that's not a real chopper. Okay. Sorry.
You're right, God.
All right, it was not real.
Oh, and we see the Soviets riding around in that giant infantry vehicle now. They didn't fake that either. What is the budget on this movie?
I'm curious.
Who do you know?
It was directed by Matt Cheney. That would make sense. Once they connect with the Afghan rebels via very Naked Gun-style comedic handshake complete with sound effects, so now they're going full-blown Zucker Brothers humor. Barrett stops Mantrix and tells him that once the mission's complete, he's found an all-male, no-females-allowed cruise to Valverde, and he thinks they could all do for a little R&R. Real male bonding. Mantrix tells him he should file this away with all your other bad ideas, like all leather pants for the squad, sand volleyball courts, and the rubber fists. Now get back in line and shut up.
I'm sorry, I
yes,
laughed.
sir, Barrett says, but he's not happy.
I actually laughed out loud on that one.
Some more hints into Barrett's actual character.
They're filling in gaps from the original
All
Commando.
male cruises, rubber fists.
The filmmakers here have finally answered the big question of what went wrong with Barrett and Mantrix's working relationship. Well, part of it. But when the big nighttime firefight goes down, Barrett goes nuts and starts killing their allies. Daddy's here to give you a spanking, he says before he starts shooting.
More insight.
And that, very deep insight. And that plays a part in the dissolution of their working relationship too, obviously. The gay stuff and the killing their allies. There were some really good practical effects, and it was a nighttime gun battle, but you could see everything. You could see blood coming out of there. Every time the sniper rifles went off, you could just good hits. It was really well done. And I guess I should mention that Rambo shows up here and rescues the hostage very quickly.
Yeah.
But like the doctor said, Rambo weighs like $150 soaking wet. And just a guy with a curly wig and a red bandana. The scene ends with Yakov.
I just liked the tie-in. I thought it was kind of nice.
That was cool. And Mantrix staring each other down and firing at each other at point-blank range. Again, Naked Gun, we saw it. Hot Shots, we've seen it. The old Police Squad TV show used it. Like that, shooting each other like this.
Put the gun down. I can't hear what you're saying when you keep shooting it.
Exactly. But when Mantrix shoots a grenade his way towards Yakov, we assume that was the end of the old Russian guy. If this wasn't a flashback brought on by the currently alive Yakov, so we know A, he's made out alive, and B, that's where he got his nickname, the Crimson Cockroach. This fucker just won't die.
Just won't die.
He's going to live to yak off another day.
He will be yakking off all over the place for years to come.
And
Am I right, Yaks?
Well, that was his name after all.
now we know what happened in Afghanistan.
He'll have years to come.
Oh. Back at the Special Forces camp, Barrett approaches Mantrix to celebrate a job well done and hit the Hey, how about we all hit the showers? John slams Barrett against the wall. What the hell's wrong with you? Well, not shower at the same time. No, not that. Mantrix saw him shoot the friendly rebels, and that's it. Barrett's kicked out of the
Off
unit.
the team.
All I ever wanted was in your unit, John.
All I ever wanted was your unit, John. No, to be in your unit.
John. We then cut back from the flashback to Miss Maelstrom rubbing her temples. Jesus, that was a long flashback, she says. It really was. It was like a 10-minute flashback. She asks Yakov if he wants another crack at the son of a bitch who killed his comrades, and he kind of gives her this little smile. Cigar?
Same thing. Picking up it's not really a strong cigar, but the flavor's kind of intensified once you get into that halfway and then into the two-thirds.
Well, it definitely goes up to the medium.
Yeah,
cigar.
and like I said, the flavors are just a little bit more heavy on the palate, which I really like. The Retro Hell's been consistent. There's not a lot of change and transition in this cigar. It's just that nice bread leather. I mean, it's got just a tad bit of earthiness, but not a lot. I mean, it's nice.
Yeah, bread and leather, man. Bread and leather. And it is an earthiness, but it's a very different earthiness than like the Nicaraguan.
It's
I think
not
that's
the
Barrett's
volcanic.
autobiography. Bread and Leather, the Barrett story.
You're toast.
No, I'm not tasting any mineral in this, so it's not like Barrett.
You liking it?
The mineral.
I am.
You're having to relight quite a bit as
Yeah,
well.
I am, but I mean,
Maybe I should have
class.
Maybe I should have dry boxed these for a couple days. Maybe
You
I
would
didn't
be
let dry box
punctilious in assuming that.
that's an entire possibility.
Nice
I mean,
work.
other than that, like I said, there's not just a ton of transitions, but I mean, it's been solid. It has gotten stronger I've noticed a pickup in the strength level. I
It is.
like that.
It's full medium strength at the midway point. Actually,
It's a subtle.
I mean,
the spice on the nose, excuse me, is stronger to me. It's
yeah, I was gonna say. I mean, that spice is there. Other than that, I'd be like, tut that. It was just that bread.
it is nice.
Yeah.
It's going really well with these beers. Real quick before we leave Yakov, didn't you think the actor? This is just me, but the actor playing him, it's hard to see under that mullet wig, but you can kind of see it in the flashback when he had short hair. If they ever do a biopic like The Dirt on Guns N' Roses, this dude should play Axl Rose. He looked so similar, and he was a good actor, but he looked so similar to me. He could pull off Axl Rose. Clinton Dale's the guy's name. That's your Axl Rose.
A good buttery bourbon with this.
That would be good.
That'd be pretty good.
Yeah.
Nice little warmth, but a little bit on the buttery side. I know a lot of bourbon drinkers aren't. They don't
A
really
good
get
buttery
into
bourbon
that.
would go good with a candy cigarette. Let's be honest.
A buttery bourbon would go good with any, man.
That's kind of true.
I'm going to actually switch to the IPA next and see how that interacts with the cigar.
I
a little
totally
bit.
forgot
You
that
want
we
one?
had that.
All right, yeah, we'll get one of those next up here in a minute. All right, well, back to the movie. Just then, Mantrix and Dr. Dawn Bergman arrive at the lab. Before she can get out of the car, Mantrix has put the security guard in a chokehold, getting him to pass out. Why the hell did you do that? She yells. He'll live, Mantrix quips. No, I work here. I have a key card.
That was kind of funny.
He just kind of shrugs and dumps the body. They race up to her lab, and while she tests the Mad Doctor's serum, she tells Mantrix to screw around the internet, see if he can find out anything. But he's been locked up for 10 years. So he just starts clumping away at the
I'm sorry,
at the
I
keyboard.
actually like it because every time you see Arnold Schwarzenegger type, he has Arnold Schwarzenegger's type. It could be like just a couple of keystrokes.
All pointer fingers?
No. He doesn't know what he's doing. He just...
Well, that's what Mantrix does, and all of a sudden all these pop-ups start shooting up on the screen, 1990 style. He's immediately infected with a virus. He immediately went to a wrong website. He's completely frozen up everything. I did like that was a nice thing. She then puts her doctor glasses on, and within seconds, we see scans on the computer screen of the effects the drug has on the human brain.
I don't wear these for good looks, buddy.
I heard that.
Do they make you wear those as part of being a doctor?
It's like this.
Oh, God. Put them on.
E equals MC squared, and of course, as you know, Tuttle, from your studies in biochemistry and calculus, that is the correct way to formulate the theory of relativity.
I'm at community college, dude.
You know what we call you guys? Bunch of yak-offs.
Okay, USA.
Yak boy, you don't take offense to that term, do you?
Yeah.
Okay. Nobody's ever called you a yak off.
I-
Not to your face.
Wait, you're calling me a yak off? when I'm
Otherwise,
not
you get
around?
somebody a chokehold and put him to sleep. Am I right?
You are calling me a yak off when I'm not
Easy,
around.
easy.
Yes.
I knew it.
Hey,
Easy.
yak boy ain't no yak off.
Yeah.
You son of a.
Well, within
With the glasses on, I can see that.
Oh God, I thought you still had them off. I'm sorry. I'm not kidding. She puts those glasses on. Within seconds, there's a thing of the human brain on her screen, and she has all the answers. She just happens to be the world's finest drug analyzer, and she has already come up with a compound that can neutralize its effect on the human
Within
brain.
seconds.
Glasses.
That's true, man.
But outside the lab, Miss Maelstrom is assembling her team, one of which is wearing, you see Jesse the Body's MTV shirt
Yeah.
from Predator. And when she
I actually
tells...
want that shirt.
I saw that immediately. I was like, how the fuck?
I know.
Where are they
did
getting
he,
this
Yeah,
stuff?
where did he get that?
I have looked everywhere.
when we
I know.
did our Predator spoof, Hipster, now available on YouTube and on our Facebook page.
And you should definitely check that
You
shit
should
out.
We do a damn good job of recreating the world of Predator. We ended up going with the
Dick Nose.
What are you looking at? Dick Nose shirt from Teen Wolf, and I think it works beautiful.
Yeah.
Yes.
It was a good call.
But I do want that MTV shirt.
Yeah. Well, I actually saw it at like Kohl's or something recently. Yeah, it's,
You son of a.
I still want to get
I was there
yak.
buying socks.
I still want to get Yaks one of those Greasy Tonys t-shirts.
Greasy toe.
Well, Miss Maelstrom tells her team as they're loading their guns that they have the Crimson Cockroach on their side to take down Mantrix and they're all instantly relieved. He's a legend. They enter the lab facility and begin filling it with tear gas. Mantrix smells it and orders Dr. Don Bergman to grab her compounds quickly, because in a few minutes I'm going to be handing out some compounds of my own. She's looking at her microscope. What kind of compounds? He looks into the camera. Compound fractions.
Oh, come on, that was awesome.
That was the best one-liner of the movie by far.
I
actually rewound that one.
That was
his best delivery. It was the best written one.
That was up there. Here, do you want to be a farmer? Here's a couple of acres.
Compound fractures, dude. Brilliant. Good. Okay.
That was really good.
Well, Dr. Don Bergman just rolls her eyes like, oh, this idiot. And resumes looking at her microscope. She has to get these dosages just right. It'll take her another 10 seconds.
What's your favorite season? Fall.
Hey, look at this guy coming up with stuff. College is good for you.
I love Arnold one-liners, man.
Oh, yeah, me too. And they do some pretty good ones here. The backhoe, that was good.
Oh,
but,
yeah.
But, yeah, they're true fans.
They actually are.
You can
They
see
are.
in every part of this movie they are Arnold fans, which I can't believe the Arnold fans, our friends over at Arnold Radio, haven't latched onto this thing.
They're like, well, there's a litigation pending.
Unless they don't want to like piss off their friends in the Arnold world. Like maybe Arnold's like, fuck this movie. Arnold doesn't know about this movie.
I would be really curious. There's
no way Arnold Schwarzenegger knows this movie exists.
His lawyers know
I would
this
think he
movie
wouldn't give a
experience.
shit at this point.
I don't think that he does either.
Well, he has no claim to the copyright material. I mean, it's
Yeah,
not-
but you know how lawyers are. You know how freaking rights are, especially if they're aggressive in trying to maintain an IP.
yeah, but I could see the studio doing that, not him.
Yeah.
You want the IPA?
Yes, please.
Okay.
I would just, like I said, I would just be very, very kind of curious just to kind of see.
fucking questions for this film.
I know, and I'm kind of surprised that you didn't respond. Well, no, I'm not surprised.
Hey,
he
some
didn't
people don't
respond.
check their Instagram messages. Some people don't check their Facebook messages. I could have maybe found another avenue, but we're getting close to doing this, and I'm like, okay.
Well, I would think that a filmmaker would.
I don't know. Maybe he doesn't want a lot of attention paid to this thing. This thing he worked so hard on and did a really good job at. I don't know. It's worth mentioning that while all of Miss Maelstrom's team is wearing military-grade gas masks as they invade the building, Yakov, the Crimson Cockroach, nothing, and he's not shedding a tear. Nothing gets to this guy. When Mantrix easily takes out a few of the men, he finds himself engaged once again in a knife-on-knife combat with the Crimson Cockroach. John Mantrix, do you remember Afghanistan? Been trying to forget. Not so easy for me. You killed my comrades. And when he says that, we cut to a flashback of all the Soviet guys dancing to that music again. Come on, that was good. Mantrix tells Yakov, come on, let's party. And Yakov says in Russian, no chance. It's on.
I actually like this little sequence here.
It was a better knife fight than the recreation of the basement knife fight done.
Yeah.
It was shot better.
It wasn't bad at all.
They have a pretty intense knife fight while Miss Maelstrom hunts down Dr. Don Bergman. When she captures the buxom doctor in a headlock, Yak Boy, she was buxom, correct?
Indeed.
I'm not going to ask community college that. Do they have buxom chicks at community college?
I'm still processing. I just don't know what to say.
You just started. You're a couple classes in.
Dude, I'm like decades older than them. Can I say that?
No, I don't think so. You could you might be on poor taste.
I don't know what the laws are.
I think if you're at community college, you're of age.
Yeah, they're in college.
You're in college, unless you're like one of those little. If you're one of those smart kids that races, you're not going to community college with Tuttle. She graduated high school at 13. Here's her new class. Seems like she'd be better off back in high school.
Class Holes, the new sitcom.
Why did I work so hard? HH, baby. HH.
I just missed out on Yale.
Shot down Stanford. Said offer wasn't good enough. Here I am. Dr. Dawn stabs Maelstrom with a syringe full of the mind control serum. She asks her where their hideout is, and she confesses it's off the coastal highway. Could you be more generic? That could be anywhere. But that's good enough for Dr. Don Bergman. Then she instructs the now docile mercenary into shooting the heavily mulleted Yakov. So Maelstrom marches out and shoots Yakov with a fucking mortar to the chest, saving Mantrix's hide. He was struggling in that knife fight with the Crimson Cockroach. As Yakov jumps up, Mantrix and Dr. Don Bergman run off. Crimson Cockroach dusts off the mortar dust from him. He jumps up and starts running after him, raining fire with his AK-47 as Mantrix says, "Let's get to the Bema." Maelstrom then attacks the Crimson Cockroach again, buying them some more time. Just as Yakov jumps out in the parking lot and is about to get them in the crosshairs again, General Kirby runs his ass over in a Hummer and saves the day. "Come with me if you want to live, soldier." They jump in, but we see by his raised fist that once again the Crimson Cockroach, a name he doesn't care for, by the way, who would, has survived. This fucker is indestructible.
Again, I love the Colonel's voice. He does sound like Rambo's commander. I kept waiting. What was the call sign? Come in, Rambo.
I didn't think he didn't remind me of.
To me, he did. Absolutely. And every time he called him John, which was John Mantrix's name, but every time he said John, I kept thinking John Jay.
You know who else will survive everything that life throws at him, boys?
Who's that?
That's right. I'm talking about Dirty Fabian with Drew Estate. And if I'm talking about unconventional Fabian being indeed invincible, which I truly believe he is, then you know I'm talking about the unconventional, indestructible Tobacco Special cigars. Brought to you by the same folks who created Sweet Jane, La Vieja Habana, and much, much more. Available in your choice of either extra dark Connecticut broadleaf or natural Connecticut shade wrappers. They envelope. It's envelope. A Sumatra binder and
envelope?
No one's ever said it like that.
I think you were right.
I think I am.
Envelope?
It is envelope.
No.
Excuse me. Who here is in English class?
There's an E at the end.
Envelope.
Envelope.
There's the noun envelope, which we send mail in.
Correct.
And then I believe there's envelope without the E.
There's also a creature that looks much like a deer called the antelope. And there's a round fruit that I enjoy periodically called the cantaloupe.
This is envelope. You envelop it. You surround it.
The cigars are made of a Sumatra binder and Nicaraguan Criollo filler leaves. Before aging, the cigars are slowly infused with Nicaraguan estate-grown cantaloupes. Or coffee. Look what you've done now. All I can think about are cantaloupes. The smoke is medium to full body, depending on the wrapper.
They're called cantaloupes.
Don't you start. It's rich cantaloupe flavors, tobacco flavors, damn it. Commingling, you got a problem with that one?
No.
With the unmistakable aroma of coffee and cantaloupes. Coffee and some sweetness. A perfect early morning or after dinner smoke. And if you don't believe me, ask this guy. Am I right? Perfect in the morning or in the evening.
Correct.
Go with the Connecticut shade in the morning. Go with the darker Negra in the afternoon.
Home on the range where the deer and the antelope play.
I believe it's the cantaloupes play.
The antelopes?
The antelopes?
I do like me some tobaccos.
If you don't believe me, go try one for yourself. But Tut, you're a fan.
I am a fan. Like them on the deck. And if they're on Tut's deck, you know they're pretty good.
You ever eat a cantaloupe out on the deck?
Yeah, actually I have.
Okay.
I like me
that
some
means they're good.
I like me some
I'm a big fan of the
cantaloupes.
cantaloupe. I love a cantaloupe.
What's not to love?
Juicy, great taste. I'm really surprised no one's done like a lot of drinks with cantaloupes. I would think a cantaloupe daiquiri or a cantaloupe. At the pub, do you guys ever incorporate cantaloupes with drinks?
No.
Should.
If you did, would you tell, like if a chick walked up to the bar, it's like, what would you say? This cocktail envelopes a medley of cantaloupes.
Envelops. Surrounds. Encompasses.
Oh, that's a good word. Encompasses.
Encompasses. I like
Next
that.
week, I'm using encompasses. I'm going to make it. Knackboy, make a note for that in my notes. Okay. I am over the halfway mark. Doctor, you're in the final third. You're with me, Yak Boy, halfway. You're in your final third. Let me guess. Bready, leather, spice on the nose, strength has picked up a little bit.
Man,
Everything's the same.
I'd say he's enveloped the flavor profile.
you have enveloped the flavor profile.
I'm getting a little bit of cantaloupe. Am I the only one getting cantaloupe on this thing?
Yes.
You keep talking about it. It's all going to be tasting.
No,
I think it's a citrusy beer too. Like,
It's cantaloupe
are
beer.
you guys getting notes of cantaloupe on the beer?
Am I not wrong? Because I haven't had a lot of Cuban type cigars or pure Cubans, but
Not quite yet, sir.
they do, to me, tend to be a little bit more dry on the palate, and they do tend to have that bread note. Is that consistent with Cubans?
Well, I think they're more consistently less complexity because they're traditionally, well, not traditionally, they're 100% Cuban tobacco.
Right.
You're not going to get, like, we're spoiled with, a Connecticut wrapper,
Mad scientists,
a Sumatra,
tobaccos
a
from all over the
binder,
world.
a Nicaragua. We smoke cigars with up to 6 different countries involved.
Yeah.
No, Cuban's a Cuban. There's no other soil. There's no other,
Well, that's one thing and this could be totally off and left base. One thing that I'm kind of curious about is that the way the Cuban government regulates all their kind of Cuban products, like even in jazz, like there's a specific type of Cuban jazz that they want their musicians to be 100% authentic, and that's kind of tough with musicians because they want to experiment and do all these crazy things, but the government's like, no, this is Cuban music. This is Cuban jazz.
So the guy
so we want you to be
his
like
snare drum a little too much. The government comes in like
absolutely. The trumpeter
You put too many pickles on that Cuban sandwich.
the trumpeter Arturo
Go for a good Cuban right now.
the trumpeter Arturo Fuente actually fled Cuba because he was a big fan of Dizzy Gillespie in the States, wanted to play more jazz, wanted to branch out, but the government was so restrictive.
Still to this day, though, I mean, that was a while ago.
I don't know.
Fuente wanted to make that Mr. Burns song.
That's why I'm saying if you're looking at Cuban cigar makers, do they have the freedom to experiment? Do they have the freedom to put in other tobaccos in there?
It'd be interesting to find out.
Given that their best baseball players run through the jungle and get on a boat to get over here through shark-infested waters, I'm going to say no, there's not a lot of freedom.
I think you're probably right.
A lot of those are just, bass players that want to play at the lower end of their bass. And
baseball.
They get in an inner tube, they grab their bass guitar, and they
I'm just saying,
come here.
I'm just saying because like that profile, and like you could even see it with like Willie's Herrera Esteli, where he was trying to be more conventional to the Cuban style.
Yeah.
You still get that breadiness in there, that leather and that breadiness that's kind of consistent.
I've actually picked up a little creaminess.
Well, I'm going to miss that.
You won't get it, but Yax, let me know if it gets to you. The breadiness to me is kind of transitioned to a nice creaminess. The leather is still prominent, but it's a nice creaminess. Just all of a sudden, leading up to the final third, and it seems to be burning a little better. I'm having to relight it a little bit.
A lot more of a obviously heat because I'm towards the end, but I'm getting a lot more of a spice there at the end.
There's to me that I was just about to say there's almost a little bit of almost a pepper introduced on the retrohale in the last third.
Have you not been getting that the whole time?
Not like pronounced.
Yeah,
It's been there, but subtle. Now
Yeah.
it's picked up. Yeah, the strength and the spice on the nose it's hovering a little bit. I had a couple sneezes there a minute ago.
Yeah.
From the spice on the nose. All right, so creamy. for
I'm
me.
really enjoying it.
Yeah, I see why Arnold, has 1,000 of these in his Hummer and just grabs one and lights it up. You're not gonna be And I can also see why he gravitates. Why he found a friend in Daniel Marshall cigars. Daniel Marshall cigars have that same kind of singular, nice,
Yeah.
profile. Not a lot of complexity, but if you like what that cigar gives you,
Yeah.
there's some leather.
Yeah.
Um,
Which we do like the Daniel Marshall profile.
in the mild to medium range. I could see why he smokes Daniel Marshalls as well.
I remember early in my cigar career, if you will, or my cigar journey, where I was like,
it's your journey.
where I was heavy into the Dominicans, and I did like the Montecristos. They had the Montecristo 2s. I was always coming the Montecristo white label 2s. I was a big fan of. I really like their Texas edition that when they came out.
Well, that was a bit more on the heavy side.
That was way heavier. But I remember talking to a guy in France that we were friends with, and he was like, "If you like the number 2s, unfortunately you're not getting the full flavor because they're different. Because like he's in France, they can get the Cubans over there, and he was like, it is a beautiful, beautiful cigar. So when you introduced this as a Cuban, I was like, holy shit, I'm about to have that cigar, and it hasn't disappointed.
It's nice. It's nice, and I'm not gonna say 100%. My relight issues are due to the cigar. I tried to give it a little bit of a different approach by dry boxing it. Maybe I could have done it 2 days sooner. And like I said, I keep my humidity around 68, which they say Cubans need to be kept. It's a completely different product, so they got to do lower. But I'm not complaining. It's been a really enjoyable smoke. This IPA is so much more my wheelhouse than that Pilsner. Citrus.
This Ferrari is so much in my wheelhouse as opposed to that, Relant.
Ford Fiesta that we were drinking earlier. Really nice citrus on the nose, and then just
made exclusively with cryo hops.
It's not super bitter, but it's very floral, extremely floral. And you know what? If they had more of this would not have interfered with the cigar.
No.
It's just citrusy and floral, but not overpowering. This IPA actually would have worked with the cigar.
Okay.
It's not a kick you in the nuts, knock out your teeth IPA. It's really enjoyable.
Okay.
I like this beer a lot. General Kirby informs them that Dr. Mengele was solely responsible for Yakov, the Crimson Cockroach. You see, the doctor was in charge of the Soviet super soldier program during the Cold War, and Yakov was his prize pupil. Dr. Don Bergman tells the general that she has the antidote that can save Chenny, her sister Sandy, who we pretty much agreed it's not worth saving, and everybody else if he can take them to General Lissimo's lair. And how do you know where that lair is? You got the exact coordinates, he asks. Well, Maelstrom said off the coastal highway, so how hard could it be to find?
Oh, okay.
Was Yakov as a super soldier, and then because you've already got Rambo and because you had the John McClane, was he supposed to be kind of like a Van Damme? Was it Universal Soldier or whatever?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. But get this.
That's their Dolph.
They don't have the exact coordinates, but they do because they listed the address on that save the date wedding card that they handed out. So they just have that card and they're like, all right, we know exactly where it is. It could be a trap though. So Mantrix says they'll need to go shopping.
Yes.
As you'll remember in the original Commando, he goes shopping at the Surplus City.
Surplus City, yep.
So we cut to an all-night Army surplus store where Mantrix walks in wearing the outfit from the very first Terminator movie.
Yes.
Sorry, buddy, we're closed, the guy says. It takes two to tango. The guy smiles, but we only accept cash. Little tango and cash thing in there?
Nice.
The guy smiles, and he recognizes Mantrix, and it is go time. He's happy to supply him with all the good shit. As Mantrix demands the Phase plasma rifle in the 40-watt range and Uzi 9mm, the dude asks him, is this for pleasure or revenge? Both.
I always wanted to pick out a new set of golf clubs that way. Give me the tailor-made burn driver, 10.5 Swift, the 4-iron.
Man, this guy certainly knows his club.
The 4-iron and the 40-watt range.
Any of these would be
I
ideal
want the
for
big
putting,
Bertha driver.
for
the lob wedge with laser sighting.
Any of these would be ideal for getting out of the rough or...
I may close early today.
I may close early today. Wrong.
I reach in and grab some brand new golf balls out of the sleeve. You can't do that. Wrong.
Is
How do
there
you like that IPA, Doctor?
I like it a lot.
Oh man, it's...
Is there any chance that you can say Uzi 9mm without doing the Uzi 9mm?
Uzi 9mm? No, I can't.
The OC 9mm.
Hold on. Uzi 9... Nope. We then join the evil Dr. Mengele.
Which, by the way, was the greatest 80s gun of all time.
Oh, everyone had the Uzi 9mm. That and the Mac 10.
That and the Mac 10.
That was pretty much your bad guy gun in the old days.
They were the worst ones because literally they were not made for screen time because if you pull the trigger, you would be out of bullets.
You're out of bullets. Done.
Uzi 9mm with a 200-round clip. It's like this long.
That's a 5-foot clip.
Especially Chuck Norris in Beijing USA. He had those 2 little Mac 10s that fired like 300 rounds from his shoulder holsters.
He literally just fired them like this forever.
And they hit everything.
They got 10 bullets. It's a machine pistol.
Hey,
There's actually 2 guys that follow on his left and right that are constantly
we've
reloading.
come a long way now. Any citizen can arm themselves with like a 30-round magazine and a much more accurate rifle and do whatever he wants.
Yeah, but just it lacks the panache of the Mac 10.
Message. No, we don't get into messages here.
What?
We then join the evil Dr. Mengele at his evil laboratory. Doctor?
I have a laboratory.
As he's hard to work on his evil experiments. You only do good experiments,
My
right?
experiments aren't evil. I have a laboratory, but my experiments are meant for
What
good.
makes the laboratory evil?
I'll tell you what. There's a human spinal cord and rib cage and some jars of formaldehyde. And get this.
Oh, we've all got one of those. If you got a laboratory, you got to have
You
that.
gotta have the spinal cord.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it's a laboratory.
That what you pee
I
in, right?
purposely said it the way you taught me,
We have a
Doctor.
laboratory.
He chats with Barrett. As he's chatting with Barrett, the German doctor, weirdo, is drinking from the boot of remembrance. How cool is that?
Are you sure this guy doesn't live 2 doors down?
He's swinging from the boot, baby.
That's where the boot comes from, is the German soldiers in World
Das
War I
Boot.
in the trenches.
Das Boot.
Yeah. They drank from
You're
each
going to be
other.
out getting the mail from tomorrow or next day. You're going to look over. There's a dude with the pipe in his chest. Son of a bitch.
Okay, it's like, where's my newspaper? And all of a sudden he's right behind you with the pipe. Right here, Cade.
Right here, kid. Your training. Your
party.
podcast.
Your podcast, Cade.
Well, Dr. Mengele's been busy. As busy as you could possibly be, drinking out of a giant boot filled with beer. Trust me on that. You can't be that busy.
Take some effort. Takes a little bit of effort.
And he's filled a small syringe with just enough serum to give a man instant youth. I'm guessing he's been using that on himself. He's been around since, the World War, and he's got this blonde, he hadn't aged a day. He's got a luscious blonde wig. It's clearly a wig. It gives him super strength, and it makes men more than just a man.
Barrett likes that.
Barrett likes to hear
Was
that.
it Barrett style?
But it's only for special men indeed, and he warns Barrett, you're not special. So a man such as yourself must only take a fraction of a dose or could lead to severe consequences. Barrett grabs the syringe and says he'll take his chances. You don't know how special a man is until you look deep inside of him. All right. Take his word for it.
I'm really liking the last third of this cigar.
Tell me about it.
It's rich. It's the same flavors, but it's just been fun to actually see these flavors intensify down the length of the cigar. And in that last third, it just really doesn't pick up in strength necessarily, but it just picks up in presence, and it's just there.
I thought there was
It's
a little
just
more potency there
rich.
towards the end.
I like it a lot. I'm having a hard time putting it down.
Something no one's ever said to me. A little more potency there at the end.
And you're good out of the gates, I've heard.
Fades down the stretch poorly.
It does. Everything does seem kind of to come out more pronounced.
Just really like it.
in the end. I agree with you. I'm gonna.
I hate that the ride's about over. I'm about to have to dump
Again,
it. It does
something no one's ever said.
it does burn a little hot at the end.
Well, we are now at the day of the wedding.
The metaphors abound.
At Generalissimo's palace. There's some guards arguing outside about their lack of dental insurance when a white van pulls up to the gate.
It's just funny in itself.
I thought it was pretty
It was a good
funny.
little banner. Weren't you at the meeting on Tuesday? It was mandatory. Everybody had to be there.
Man.
My copay's killing me.
It was almost like a Cheech and Chong routine.
Yeah,
It was
it was.
actually pretty cool.
And you know that one of those guys was one of the rebels that got killed in the opening scene? They just reused him. The white van they pull up in, Matrix and Dr. Don Bergman, very reminiscent of when Kruger and Vanessa Williams were driving around that white van in Eraser.
Yeah.
That kind of reminded me of that. Dr. Don Bergman is behind the wheel, and she sweet talks them, and the guards, into letting her through the gates, as she's told them they're there to cater the wedding. You here for the catering? Oh, yeah, we're doing catering here. Yeah. Good enough. She pulls
I
in.
love there was actually some really good timing on this scene because he gives her the cold eye like I'm judging you for insight. Yeah, just go down there on the left. It'll be fine.
She parks the van inside the lavish compound. Lavish compound. And when she heads off to find her sister Sandy, probably drinking somewhere, Mantrix stays in the van I gotta get dressed for the party. The only thing is, as he gets suited up in the back of the van, it's a van. He keeps banging his head on the ceiling every time he puts on something. So, of course, the van is shaking back and forth. They're hearing him scream.
What's going on over there?
One of the
catering
stuff.
What's going on over there? Probably nothing, catering stuff.
No.
He's getting the cold cuts ready. Well, they approach the van, guns drawn anyway, but when Matrix swings open the back doors, he knocks them both out cold. Classic. Problem solved. Before we enter our final scene, now that they're at the palace and the winds begin, you're finished.
I'm finished.
Me and Cody are in our last third. Doctor, where you at?
He's gone.
I finished it.
Price point.
Man, I have no clue because it's Cuban. I have nothing to base this off of. I don't know.
Cuban 16.
Oh, okay. First of all, I'm not going to say that that's wrong because I think you got to take it in. This is a Montecristo. It's not like, All right, so it's a Montecristo Cuban #2.
Uh-huh.
It wasn't a white label #2 though.
Well, White Label's not a Cuban cigar. White Label's made by General Cigar.
And that's why it's not a white label.
I mean,
You passed.
Those are like $7.
Good job, Cade.
Yeah.
I'm gonna write that down. Good job, Cade.
You know my stuff.
All right, so you go 16. I'll go 13.5.
Doctor?
I'll pick up the middle right there, 15.
450.
You're actually all kind of right. I bought these from a reputable person, without going into details, for 13.
Okay.
Sans shipping. Sans shipping? Sans shipping. I've looked online at some supposedly reputable sites where one can order such cigars. I'm not going to give those away. Anywhere...
Because they were on the dark web.
16-ish. But, like all contraband, you can find a deal.
In Bitcoin.
Yeah, we paid 13 for these.
So how should we base this then, on what you paid for it, or
13? That's what you can get. That's
I would say
if
that
I can get them for 13, anybody can get them for 13.
I'm saying that's good and it's worth it.
Yeah, I was gonna say that for a Cuban cigar, Montecristo, for as good as it was, for as long as it lasted,
Yeah.
I would say 13 for that is that's a good score. Gonna get a good price score.
I'm just saying if we could fucking kill that embargo, that price is going to drop, and that would be so worth it.
It looked like we were maybe getting to something there.
We're on our way.
In our last presidential, the last guy who was in there, but Trump just clamped down hard on Cuba, so I don't expect that to happen anytime soon.
And that's a shame because at 13.5, that's good. That's a good deal. I mean, that's a good price for this cigar.
I'm sure
with how difficult it is
I'm
to
sure,
acquire.
and opinions vary. I'm sure if the embargo did lift and all of a sudden we had access, the price would go up. The demand would be just.
I think it would in the short run, but then once
they flooded the market.
So economics here. If the embargo did, you would have an increase on demand, limited supply. The price would go up, but as investment flowed in, they would ramp up the production, and then the price would come down.
I don't know if they are capable of ramping it up.
With proper investment, they would be.
That's true. With an influx of cash.
To your point, though, Tut, that would take a while.
It would take a while.
From all accounts,
you're absolutely right.
By all accounts, their agriculture has suffered
after the Soviet clubs.
of the embargo.
The Hall of Fame radio broadcaster for the Texas Rangers, Eric Nadel, he is a big music fan, and he has actually gone to Cuba
and seen musicians killed for playing the wrong notes.
No, but what he's talked about is that what people don't
Not
understand
killed, jailed.
is how the infrastructure in that country really is still backwards. He said, like, landing at their airport, getting to a decent hotel. He said it's really like it's. He wasn't being negative. He was just saying how the infrastructure,
Right.
because of whether it's sanctions or their own government and the way they do things, it's like it would take. I think you're right. At first, it is going to be expensive until the fat foreign capital comes in there and starts taking it over. They don't have the infrastructure at this point. Even if an embargo were lifted tomorrow, they're not going to have the infrastructure to start bringing these over en masse. It's going to take a
Well, they can
while.
bring them over what they got.
I had a friend who just came back from a medical trip over there. He's a doctor, so they do like doctor exchanges, which apparently you can still do after Trump clamped down.
Well, yeah, because they have some of the greatest medical researchers.
He was actually very supportive of their medical industry. He said, but their infrastructure is just really
They're
stressed.
miserable, but they live forever over there.
To be miserable even longer.
What irony!
What irony! I'm so miserable. Doc, how am I doing? Great.
Great, you're going to live to be 120. Jesus.
Shit. Just lay low on the salt.
Man, I like
I'm
that.
not
That
savvy
is- that
enough
is
to even
really nice.
act like I know what I'm talking about with.
Doctor, could you do something to end my misery? No, I can only extend it.
Dr. Dawn Bergman quickly finds her sister Sandy. How hard could it be to find her? She's always drunk. And gives her the antidote just as Mantrix gets his groove on. By that I mean, doing his thing. Once again, the location used here is pitch perfect with giant statues, like Greek statues everywhere, huge columns. Kudos for the last time to whoever location scouted this thing in our great state of Texas. As Mantrix makes his way around, we see for a bit him being watched from up above by Predator heat vision. I thought that was kind of an unnecessary throwaway joke at that time. Like,
Yeah.
we get it. We know we're.
Well, they hit on way more than they didn't.
No,
so.
they hit a lot more than the misses. But I thought,
I actually agreed. At this point,
there was only
it was
one,
unnecessary.
There was only
and-
one more rare miss in this thing, and it was kind of a big one later on. I'll get to, but I didn't think we really needed that at this point. Down at the backyard clearing, Generalissimo is reassuring Cheney that he will act as her father today in the wedding ceremony, just like he'll be father to all the people of Valverde soon. But she doesn't seem too relieved at all by his reassurance, especially when he tells her that when her new husband probably won't get close to her tonight, that's probably an accurate call, he will gladly step in and be her poppy in the bedroom. Oh boy. Just then, the wedding march music begins to play, and the ceremony begins. Surrounded by heavily armed guerrillas and an audience of like 6 totally disinterested people, Generalissimo walks Cheney down the aisle, and the proceedings begin. With Mantrix taking aim of it all with a large scope from atop a watchtower. The pastor says that Barrett first swept Cheney off her feet when she was just 15 years old, and then, after uncomfortably clearing his throat, why don't you guys go ahead and say your vows? Barrett says he takes Cheney to have and to hold hostage, as she has written her name on the dog tags of his heart. In return, she says that she lost a father, but she's gained a leather daddy to have and to hold from mustache to ashes, from dust to dust. When the pastor pleads with anyone, does anyone here object to this? Anyone?
Please.
Someone
Please,
objected it,
please.
for God's sakes.
It'd be great if someone like coughed. Sir, do you have something to say?
So I'm saying? Suddenly, Mantrix starts blasting everybody with his sniper rifle from the watchtower. Consider this a divorce. As everyone, all 6 people attending the wedding, run away in terror, Cheney wakes up. Mantrix shot her first with a bullet filled with the antidote. She grabs a machine gun and points it square at Bennett. "You kidnapped me twice," she says. But he swiftly grabs a hostage and shuffles off before she can get her revenge.
Well,
Go ahead.
What I love about this scene is that Mantrix actually tries to shoot Barrett, but he shoots him through the pipe.
I missed that.
It kills the pastor.
The pastor, yeah.
Oh, it went through the pipe?
Yeah,
And
that
he's
was
like,
a great scene.
oh. Looks around and like the
I
pastor.
thought he just missed him and went through the pipe. Oh,
No,
that's good.
the other guy like.
No, I thought it was just a miss. The fact it went through the pipe. That's good. Okay. Sully runs away. Okay, he limps away with his cane back up to his quarters where he starts packing a bag. He's planning on taking Sandy and himself far away from Mantrix to the islands. They always have good drinks on the island. Sandy will be happy. When he sees Dr. Don Bergman holding a pistol with him in the sights, he says, "Hey, I'm sure there's a way we can resolve this as reasonable, sexy adults." But Dr. Don ain't feeling it, so she shoots him right in the dick. And for a guy like Sully, that's worse than getting shoot between the eyes.
Yeah.
He's a horn dog. So blood starts gushing out of his dick hole. That was nice. And we then cut to Mantrix unleashing all sorts of unholy shotgun fire on the rebel army. He retreats into a tool shed, a la the first film, when one of the soldiers yells out, "You killed my father with a pitchfork!" Mantrix jumps out with a leaf blower. They didn't have anything sharp in there. But it's okay, because Chenny, he raised her right. She blasts them to come with the machine gun. They have a father-daughter moment where they both apologize. Her for shooting him while brainwashed, and him for killing her high school sweetheart.
And everybody else.
"I guess I can't solve all your problems with violence. It's something we need to work on for sure," she says. "But my fiancé, you can definitely use violence on him. Count on it." And they race back. For me, she was the weakest link in this movie acting wise.
Yeah, but I mean,
She was bad.
She
I wouldn't
wasn't
go with bad.
She wasn't bad, but you know.
I kind of accepted it in the overall context of the film.
Yeah, but
Agreed.
everybody else really stepped
Agreed.
it up. I thought everybody else did a really good job. And okay, would I cast her in one of my films? No chance.
Big chance.
Sort of a chance.
Slight chance.
Slight chance.
Mediocre chance.
Depending on availability and price, slight chance. There's a chance.
She doesn't even get naked.
Maybe they didn't ask her to.
In my opinion, if you're going to hire a not so skilled actress, that's why you hire her. Because she's willing to do other things.
That
But there was no
21st
nudity in
century
Commando.
visionary.
I'm just saying, there's a lot of
I'm
actors.
saying, if she's not that decent of an actress, she may as well show us her tits. I mean, come on.
know. I'm just saying.
Yeah, that should have been what's his name voice. Shit.
Sully?
No. Slater.
James Spader.
Spader voice.
Oh, okay. I'll try that again.
She's not going to show the goods.
Hang on.
There's a lot riding on
For
this.
Christ's sake, it's like she didn't matriculate at the Stella Adler Institute, for Christ's fucking sake. I mean, if you're not going to go out there and show me that you picked a thing or two up from Lee Strasberg, the least you can do is show me a little tit. I mean, is that so wrong?
Yeah, that was totally worth it.
It was. It really was.
Nice Lee Strasberg reference. Well done, Doc. All I meant by that was
I, too, went to college.
when we are casting films and when I've cast films in the past, I watch a lot of tapes of Texas actresses that are very cute.
You watch a lot of tapes with women who show their tits.
A lot of audition tapes of Texas actresses who are beautiful and can actually act. I didn't think she could act.
Turns out that's Chilton's wife, and since he's your next door neighbor, you're gonna get your ass kicked tomorrow.
I should have looked at IMDb to see if she was related to somebody in this thing. I'm sorry. Just then, moving on. Just then, we see Barrett strapping on a bizarre. Well, that's always a weird thing to say. Strapping on a bizarre shoulder pad weaponry system, fully equipped with a robotic claw arm for his arm. But out in the palace, Mantrix and Chenny, now stripped down to her sports bra and panties, because why not, are killing all the bad guys with heavy firepower in slow motion. Dozens of bad guys dead. It's a nice father-daughter moment. I thought she was a weak link, like I said, but you guys disagreed. Once the freedom fighters are all dead, Miss Maelstrom, the arms dealer, shows up and starts shooting their way. So Mantrix leaves Chenny to take care of Maelstrom, and he runs off. He has bigger fish to fry. And that by that I mean he has like a dozen more soldiers to kill.
And I'm not saying she wasn't the weak link. It's just you said she was terrible, and I just think that in the context of the film, terrible is a little harsh.
I guess I'm used to watching movies like this where everyone's terrible, and I was so surprised by the level of good stuff that she just stuck out to me. I take that back. She wasn't terrible. She just wasn't as good as everyone else.
Can I have one of those IPA, please? I would like to try it. And I agree with that. And it wasn't the fact that she was terrible. I mean, she wasn't a strong link. She wasn't a good link, but she wasn't a terrible link.
She was a link.
But, I mean, at the same time, I've seen movies to where, like, everybody was terrible. And if you put her in those everybody's terrible, all of a sudden she's decent. But here, you got some pretty decent actors.
I was using context. In the context of this film, she's not very good.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Cade's using context, and I mean, if I can act a hole around you, the least thing you can do is show me your fucking asshole.
I didn't say I needed that much from her.
She was serviceable.
She was serviceable.
I mean, I was in tough turf, for Christ's sake. We didn't mess around with any of this fucking shit.
Cheney
Anytime you go Spader, I'm fine with it, man.
Cheney knocks out Miss Maelstrom with one of those martial art elbows she learned as a kid.
What I loved it is
as a kid, she was 30.
What I loved about it is that the Maelstrom was like, "Why is this working? Why are you? This is a horrible move."
Yeah, like, because that's all. Remember in Commando, that's all he taught Alyssa Milano was those elbow moves. Well, right across the courtyard, the Crimson Cockroach Yakov is baiting Mantrix into a fight. Come on. Follow me into the
party.
Let's party. Meanwhile, General Kirby confronts Dr. Mendel. "Why, you haven't aged a day," he says. "Science," Dr. Mendel goes.
"Science
is a beautiful thing."
But when
I don't understand why he's doing like the chin stroke thing. He had no beard.
He's doing my post-chug
It was
thing.
almost like the kung fu martial art teacher with the long flowing beard, where he's like, "Science," and pulls the beard up.
Like from Kill Bill Volume 2.
Like Kill Bill
It's
Volume
almost
2.
like this guy hasn't aged in 60 years and he's crazy. Maybe he had a beard back then. When General Lissimo shows up to defend Dr. Mendel, Kirby gives it to him straight. "You've let yourself go, Doctor. You used to work for superpowers. Now you're slumming it for some third world tin horn," which causes General Lissimo to go, "Hey, man, I'm right here." That was good. Mendel says he couldn't care less about Generalissimo and his cause. He's keen on building a super army with all these specimens sailing to Valverde on the all-mail cruises.
Why work for superpowers when you can be
And
a superpower?
soon he'll be able to screw the country of Valverde. He'll have a continent of his own.
Hey, man, I'm standing right here.
Filled with all dudes on these cruises.
Who wants a mustache?
Sleeveless chainmail and nothing else.
I guarantee you it's going to be a tidy continent. It's going to be organized and neat. Generalissimo doesn't like the sound of that one bit. But when he goes to shoot his betraying doctor with the very gun that Mengele gifted him with, Mengele saw this coming, and the gun backfires on him and blows Generalissimo's arm off. That's a good little practical effect.
Betrayal.
Dr. Mendel then injects Kirby with the mind control serum, but that's right, Kirby has already taken the antidote, so he proceeds to shoot the shit out of Dr. Mendel. But how, he asks. Kirby goes, "Science." I love this guy. I really like that old guy.
I do too.
"It's a beautiful thing," Kirby says as he does that. And then he does the patented Cade.
He does?
"Science." Maybe they're fans of the podcast. Doing my post-chug beer swing. I'll let it slide this time. They're Texas boys, apparently. I'll let it slide.
Maybe there's something to this.
Maybe that's why he wouldn't respond. We're too close.
Could be. He is your neighbor.
We'll see. Mantrix follows Yakov into a series of warehouses before they're finally face to face.
Ooh, that's got some citrus on that.
A little bit of cantaloupe.
Yeah.
No, it isn't lemon or lime. It's
cantaloupe, but
yeah, I'm gonna put it towards the grapefruit.
Grapefruit. Yeah, a little bit of grapefruit.
I will slide to grapefruit.
A little bit of cantaloupe.
No, cantaloupe.
That's not a real thing. They both drop their weapons and lock fists, and suddenly we're in a championship arm wrestling match between the two of them.
I love they drive their knives right into the table.
And they grab
they're arm
fists,
wrestling.
and they're arm wrestling, complete with a cheesy announcer and swinging spotlights.
I was waiting for, Yakov to be like, I was beating guys like this.
I actually, for some reason,
The U.S. flag is
it was stupid and I liked it.
The U.S. flag is hanging behind Mantrix, the red Soviet flag behind Crimson Cockroach. There's even a live studio audience cheering them on.
And a nice, sweet synth score
I was
in the background.
gonna ask if this bit worked for you guys. What's the matter? KGB got you pushing too many pencils? I must break you. I thought it was like the Predator vision. We didn't need this. And
It would have worked better if in the background you had the Rambo guy fighting that big dude from Over the Top doing their little arm wrestling.
they were
thing
on
the side.
another
Yeah.
table. Yeah, this didn't work for me for some reason.
I didn't mind it. I actually
And by that
liked
I mean
it.
I didn't laugh at it.
I thought the break you part was a little bit dumb, but I enjoyed the actual scene when they went over the top.
Okay, at this point I thought it was a misstep. He does say you thought it was over the top.
No, I said when they went over the top.
Well, the announcer says it's capitalism versus communism. This is over the top, folks.
Hearts on fire.
If they got the Running Man voiceover guy smoking a cigarette,
His Russian counterpart, his lover.
will sure tell lies about me. That would have been funny. All right.
Well, it looks like this movie's finally getting it.
Well, guess what? Mantrix changes his grip all of a sudden, pins Yakov's hand to the table. It's over. USA wins. The Crimson Cockroach gives Mantrix a thumbs up. Okay, USA. He walks off. He gets to live. He's the Crimson Cockroach.
And the announcer, wow, what an amazing example of sportsmanship the Crimson Cockroach is showing right now.
It would have been a little hilarious as he's walking away, he trips and falls.
Oh, this is the way.
It's not like this.
I'm not like this. Elsewhere, Barrett in his new high-tech bodysuit has taken Chenny hostage. She calls, Daddy, Daddy, come rescue me, over and over again to lure Mantrix in.
Well,
But when he finally finds her, she tells him, it's a trap, Daddy, you need to get out of here. You just called me in here ad nauseum. Whatever.
It would have been nice to actually show a little
comedy,
confusion,
whatever.
but you just
That would have been nice, too. A little,
you just told me to come
You've
in.
been screaming my name. Whatever. It's too late as Barrett shows up in his laser-guided shoulder pads and claw arm, and he injects himself with
all right, hang on before we get in here because there's I like what's coming up next. I really kind of wish that this suit though would have had some Christmas lights on it.
Well,
Like
at
Dynamo?
least it should have
Dynamo.
been. It should have been more chrome because I thought they were going more for Captain Freedom's.
Or Captain Freedom, yeah, that would have been. Oh, that would have been great.
But didn't Vernon Wells, the original Bennett, wear something like this in Road Warrior?
no,
He had
no,
the
I
one
don't
shoulder
think so.
pad and
Well, he had
the
the
assless.
shoulder
He had
pad.
the football.
Yeah, which I thought this was
pads.
kind of
and
referencing.
the assless leather pants.
Yeah, I thought that was kind of referencing that.
I thought they were trying to reference Captain Freedom.
That would have been awesome, man. If that would have gone chrome, Captain Freedom.
But that suit was useless. This one isn't.
Because it would have been
it's got
kind of
working.
cool.
It's got working stuff on.
Well, I thought it would be kind of cool later in the thing where if he just stripped it off. I don't need this.
I don't need this.
I was killing guys like you with my bare hands.
Well, here's where it gets really interesting. He
If we ever
shows
do
up.
the Road Warrior, those assless pants better show up on time.
He injects himself with a full dose of Dr. Mendel's super soldier serum. Remember, the doctor advised against that. You're not a man's man. You can't handle it. We watch as Barrett transforms into a new entity altogether. In fact, he turns into fucking 73-year-old Vernon Wells.
Vernon,
The
fucking
original Bennett
Wells.
from Commando. How cool is that?
This entire movie is worth it just for this payoff right here.
So they decide to settle things with an old-fashioned Cincinnati pipe fight. Doctor, you're familiar with those, am I right?
Cincinnati pipe fight?
Yeah. Oh, that was Columbus. That was Columbus.
I pictured the Doctor as more of Queensberry Rules.
Marcus Queensberry?
I think I just found the name for our boy band, Cincinnati Pipe Fight. What do you guys think?
Oh, jeez.
It'll work.
I bet we could open up for 98 degrees.
I'm
I
sure
was in
we
a
can.
Tacoma pipe fight once.
How'd that go?
I don't want to talk about it.
Hey, you're still here. I guess that tells the tale of the tape.
I'm not allowed back in Tacoma anymore either.
You're not missing much.
So I've been told.
So
Or was it Topeka? What was one of those?
they're all the same. But old school Barrett simply bends Mantrix's pipe. He's got super soldier strength now.
This is so awesome.
Hostages, combat drugs, body armor. Are you afraid to fight me like a real man, Barrett? Mantrix asks. Fair's fair, John. Not everybody got the huge arms. Mantrix admires his biceps. Nods like, yeah, they're big. The monstrous abs and the rippling delts and the large package. Where was I going with this?
And they cut to the package.
And they cut to a close-up of Mantrix junk. And he shoots his claw arm at him right then and starts pulling like Dr. Octopus.
Into his package. And
into
pulls
his
him
package,
across.
Pulls him across the room. Which that actually looked pretty good. That digital arm Doc Ock thing. Man boy. Oh, and Mantrix. Man, boys, I love seeing Vernon Wells embrace the fun here by revisiting this classic.
And he did.
Gay as shit character. There's no question. They solved that riddle. Like, let's go all the way with it. And he was having fun with it.
It
How cool
was
is that?
Like I said, it was entirely worth it just for this payoff.
It was awesome. Well, Mantrix reaches back and starts unplugging Barrett's shoulder pad hoses, fireball style from Running Man. My hoses.
I was waiting
My
for him to
hoses.
I was like, there's so many things they could have done every single stalker in this, and I was like, when they're starting doing it,
I'm gonna make
like,
this claw part of you.
I know. I was just
like they could have gone all the way with it, like done everything.
That's what I was waiting. Like you said, blinking lights, chrome,
or when
everything.
he grabs his crotch, he could have done the dynamo. That would have been nice too. You're right. Just a salad bar of every Running Man reference in there. He says, "Sorry, Barrett, I'm only laying pipe to you once." And then he pulls out the pipe lodged in Barrett's body, and all his intestines start pouring out of the open cavity in his chest. Now who doesn't have the guts? That's pretty good. It was. Barrett tells Mantrix with his dying breath that he broke his heart, and he holds up the brochure to the all-male cruise. "I'll see you at the party, John. And by party, I mean hell." Oh, what a fantastic fucking cameo.
It was.
Can you imagine sending this to like...
was.
Because Vernon Wells is big on the convention scene.
Yeah.
So you can find him. Can you imagine just saying like, dude, we want you to come back and ramp the gay up to like just crazy. I know you're an old man now. And he's like, fuck yeah, let's do it. Let's have fun. Let's party.
Why couldn't you get Vernon Wells on the podcast?
And if he ever says, I'm not sure, then you just pull out some photos of that movie I did the review of, the 2006 Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde with Tony Todd that Vernon Wells was in.
Oh, no,
you're like, hey, Vern.
You'll do anything.
Don't pull artistic license on me, buddy.
Anywho, Mantrix and Cheney walk out, and when General Kirby asks him to help take out all the brainwashed homosexuals about to arrive, and there's cruise ships full of homosexuals coming into Valverde ready to fight, he has one simple answer: no chance. End of film. This was fun, man. For guys like us who've watched Commando 50, 100 times, who knows? Probably over 100. How great was this?
Oh, it was.
It was a lot of fun.
And it's basically what we do with our little short films on a mega scale. We do a one scene from The Expendables. We do a very abbreviated 15-minute little Predator thing. I mean, these dudes put their huevos on the table and said, we're making a whole movie of this, and we're not going to shortchange it. We are going to have effects. We're going to have props. We're going to dress everyone identical. No shortchange on wardrobe. No shortchange on finding someone that looks like this person. We're going to go back to the original film and add some scenes in there that actually visually work.
And it would have been the same.
Really
it would have been like if in
smart
Hipster
scenes.
during Billy's, maniacal laughing, all of a sudden, bang! It was Sonny Landham instead of me.
Yes, just for a second, we got him there. God rest his soul. But yes, these guys went for it, and they made a spoof, parody, official, unofficial sequel to one of our favorite movies, and it's much like Death Kiss. I have a hard time believing this thing exists, but it does. And we're better off for it. 4 thumbs up.
Oh, yes.
Oh yeah, definitely.
We don't do that very often.
I'm sorry. The Vernon cameo just...
With that alone, my biggest question to end on, boys, is how did this not get more press based on the concept alone? Even if it wasn't good, which it is, we're making an unofficial feature-length sequel to Commando. How does that not come across my radar? And I'm pretty good at finding stuff.
Or just...
How did I not know about this
Just
film?
how did the people involved with the film not promote it? Because, I mean...
There are videos of Barrett and Mantrix going to a convention and, like, people taking pictures with them. They approached the guy from Guardians of the Galaxy, the blue guy.
Bautista?
No, Henry the Seal Killer.
Michael Rooker?
Michael Rooker. They approach him because he was in The Sixth Day with Arnold. So they approach him, and there's some video of him like, Arnold, you kind of let yourself go. You look a little soft there, buddy. And, oh, come on, quit busting. Like, the Mantrix is like, quit busting my chops, Ruka. And he takes pictures with them. Yeah. And, like, people at convention were like, they entered a costume contest at a convention, which I don't know how Barrett didn't win that. But, I mean, they did some. But this should have been, like, San Diego Comic-Con level, like...
I'm just surprised
these
that
guys should...
I'm just surprised that it didn't come across our channels just from Instagram feeds or what.
As much effort and time as this had to take. I mean, it's a real movie.
Yeah.
I can't believe that... I was looking at another movie on Amazon Prime for us to do, and this came up just as I scrolled through, like, 20 you might like.
You might also like, yeah.
I just happened to see, it was like, oh, it's the Commando poster with other dudes. Oh, whoa, what is this shit? Like, I would never have found this thing. It's...
Well, that's what... It's, like you said, it's really weird that it got to Prime, and this is one of those things where it's like, you know, in this day and age, I guess this is the equivalent. I mean, this is something that, you know, back in the day, I would have, you know, been, you know, late night TV, USA or something.
But, I mean, the music, the final song, "We Fight for Love."
We fight for love.
It seems like they actually used that actual song.
It wasn't. It was. It was really close. They recreated it. It was just enough.
But
to
I'm
where
wondering, because we're so careful. Like in our hipster Predator spoof, we actually had Fritz, who you're listening to tonight, fritzbeermusic.com. We actually had him compose an original score. I was so afraid of using actual Predator music that we get kicked off YouTube and like.
If you can, as long as you're enough to where you can say that you changed it, and with the context of a spoof,
I'm guessing that applies to the movie itself. They changed the names.
Well, the only thing I can think here is that someone with the studio saw it, watched some of it. And you know what?
You're cool.
Yeah, like they just said,
maybe.
Well, I mean, what's the difference between this and a 5-minute Commando sequel on Saturday Night Live?
There's not.
It's satire. It's you're doing comedy based.
It is odd that you pointed out that, like, through the whole Arnold celebratory websites and everything, that you didn't hear anything about it. That is kind of weird.
Yeah. It is weird. I don't know, but I liked it, and I'll say that.
I'm kind of curious as to, you know, whether the Gilliam and all them from the Arnold fans, do they know this? I mean, they check it out?
That we can find out. Yeah. So that'll be interesting. All right, boys. It was a good one. We tend to find them every once in a while here, a little diamond in the rough. And this one was not rough to watch.
I like it. I like it.
It was good.
Now we'll all head off on that all-male cruise ship in the sun.
Now I think we should all do some R&R and just got a couple tickets to an all-male cruise. Let's do it, boys. Let's do it.
And once your chainmail arrives in the mail...
Maybe that was the problem. Chainmail in the mail? This is crazy.
This is craziness. How do you like that IPA?
I like it. I like it a lot. But I mean, I like the pills as well. It's just two totally different beers.
It is. I mean, it's just nice to have beer with flavor.
I like my German pills.
Okay. I'm gonna endorse the IPA. I'm going to give the Pils a thumbs up because it is what it is.
Right.
It's a refreshing Pilsner beer.
It was a good German Pils. I was fine with it.
4 thumbs up.
I do like
the IPA.
I do
4
like
thumbs
the
up.
grapefruit coming off of.
So
the,
we're all
IPA.
happy tonight. All thumbs up. That is rare.
It's nice.
That's an activity on the all mill cruise.
Oh, I bet.
All thumbs up.
Well,
Wait,
before we
second roll in
go,
agreement, thumbs down.
That's the male review and the matinee.
are we all thumbs up on the band 98 Degrees?
No.
4 thumbs down. Yeah.
I'm
What about
sure
Color Me
that's
Bad? Thumbs up?
right. Ooh.
Hey, thumbs up, you guys. I adore Mia Moore. Come on, man.
Mia Moore. You know it.
They were on
I'm gonna sex you up.
They were on 90210. They were on 90210. Donna had to sneak everyone up to their room. That was a good one. Oh, what a night.
TikTok, you don't stop.
TikTok, you never stop. TikTok will never stop. Well, we're not in Cuba. We're gonna stop probably sometime soon. Yeah. But maybe we need to start doing the show in Cuba.
Well, we've got the misery factor down.
Do have the misery factor in. But I do love Cuban sandwiches.
I don't actually think they have those sandwiches in Cuba.
And I think the doctor's right. They probably regulate the pickles. I like lots of pickles. You can't put that many pickles on there. Oh, man.
You can't have those.
Should have thought of that before I packed up my whole family and moved here. You mean tell me you moved here just for the sandwiches? Yes.
Welcome to Cuba.
Good night, boys. We got 2 more shows to 100. The march continues.
I'm really curious to see what the 100 brings.
100 has been planned. 100 is.
What 99 brings.
I'm not sure what 99 is going to bring, but I know what 100 is going to bring. So
I'm kind of curious.
We'll
because you can't slack on 99. I mean, I know it's the lead up to 100. It's not supposed to be as cool and spectacular as 100.
We don't slack on
But
anything.
I mean,
around
come
here.
on.
We don't slack on a damn thing.
You gotta go
around
strong into 100. Make
here.
99.
It's been a good year. I think all our shows have been pretty strong. Sans this one, or is it Sans this one?
Sans.
Okay. No, this was a good show. I'm glad you guys had fun.
I did take French in high school.
I did some French things in high school myself. I'm not talking about French fries.
Pierre, that French foreign exchange student that Kate knew so well.
Everybody,
They
thank
were gonna go on a cruise
Thank you
together.
for everybody
USA.
for okay USA. That's not what he said. Thank you everyone for joining the Tuesday Night Cigar Club podcast, episode 98. We will see you soon, and we appreciate your support. May the wings of liberty never lose a feather. Sayonara, motherfuckers.
I'm gonna sex you up
All night. Ooh yeah.
To learn more about the time I broke into a Surplus City outlet store at 3 in the morning and stole 45 pairs of Navy SEAL-approved men's Speedo swimming trunks, size medium, in a half-baked plan to rescue my dog from the pound where it was taken in an attempt to get me to help some very bad dudes steal the Frosty recipe from the giant safe located deep within a local Tallahassee Wendy's. Wait, none of that makes any sense, does it? Do you think there's a chance I've been drinking heavily prior to recording this voiceover? No chance. Okay. Slight chance. Alright, fine, I'm drunk. And in the meantime, to learn more about the cigars and libations enjoyed on tonight's episode, you can visit habanos.com and revolverbrewing.com.
For more on O'Brien's Irish Pub, the live music leader in Central Texas, please visit o'brienstemple.com and download their free smartphone app, where you'll find full beer listings including over 40 on tap, menu information, and a calendar of upcoming live events. To listen and purchase music heard on tonight's program, check out www.fritzbeermusic.com. Thank you for listening to the Tuesday Night Cigar Club podcast. This is Keith A. Howell saying until next time, friends, unless we see you sooner at the pub. So keep it smoky, and for God's sake, keep it ballsy as well.